pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Pipia.
Here.
Fry.
Present.
Schroller.
Here.
Hughes.
Here.
Beichman.
Present.
Price.
Here.
Behrens.
Here.
Throm.
Here.
8-0, we have a quorum.
All right, first up is the approval of the minutes. Does anybody have any amendments, changes, additions?
Move approved minutes of May 26, 2020 meeting.
Second. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
8-0.
All right. Next up, we have public comment. Anybody that's here can come up for 5 minutes.
I would start with the one that's listed,
Which one's that?
the Peter Maraski.
The dust control. Okay. First up, we've got Peter Maraski with dust control. Is he here?
Is this our 5 minutes?
No. First,
5 minutes?
we have somebody that already wanted to be on, not the agenda, but for 5-minute public comment about dust control. But we'll get to anyone else that wants 5 minutes, so.
I don't think he expected to be here. I think he just wanted to send that message.
Okay.
To send you a message.
Yes.
Yeah, we've got it in our packets, so.
Yeah.
So we do discuss that later on? Okay.
Yeah, we can,
Okay.
if you want.
All right, we'll discuss that later on. Okay, anyone else for 5-minute public comment?
Mayor,
Vicki, hello.
City Administrator, City Clerk, Dr. Ryan, Terry, Council, hello. My name is Vicki Gross. I live at 301 Carolina. I'm in Ward 3. I'm coming tonight to talk about the possibility of 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. adult swim at the swimming pool. I understand that along with many others who either aren't here tonight or who have called City Hall or who have the same feelings about wanting to swim, that they've been denied this, and I would just like to say, there's not a safer group that uses that pool than these adults. Everyone is a proficient swimmer. Everyone is courteous to other swimmers. There's no horseplay. There's no running on the deck. We don't use the slides. We don't use the diving boards. These are issues why we need lifeguards. Never once have I seen a lifeguard get off the stand or have to take off their sweats to rescue any swimmer from 6 to 8 a.m. They've never had to call anybody down for inappropriate behavior. There are many of us who swim who have training. Lifeguard training, WSI training. I have had WSI, in case you don't, water safety instructor. They are trained. Mine was through Kansas State University, through a professor, and 3 WSIs who are getting their degrees in physical education. The whole thing for them to do is to teach others how to swim and also to teach lifeguards how to run a pool safely. My certification is long run out, but I still remember. There are others who also have that certification that swim in the morning. There isn't one of us who wouldn't jump to the rescue to help somebody else if they were in trouble. If we were provided, if we need, we can swim the buddy system, where there's one person swimming with another person, always looking after one another. The social distancing is something that just simply happens because we're swimming. You're generally 6 feet from anybody in the pool, and if you're passing them in a lap, you're usually with your head in the water when theirs is too. So that is not an issue. My concern is that these are taxpayers. These are people, a lot of seniors. We need the exercise. Swimming is a better exercise for the joints, for the legs, than any other exercise you can have. Our season is short anyway, but it would be nice if we could have the opportunity to use the pool. Many still work. They can't come in the middle of the day. They work. Then they go home to their husbands, their wives. They feed their kids. By that time, it's too late for them to go down to the pool. And I've gone to the pool sometimes at 6:15, and because everybody's gone home for the dinner hour, they close the pool figuring no one's going to use it from 6 to 8. I mean, I understand that's the efficiency of running the pool, but lots of times the pool's not available at that time, even if they could come after work. So I'm asking you to please allow that these people be allowed to swim. They are responsible, they are adult, they'll take care of it. If it's a matter, I understand there are 21 employees at the pool, and I just heard that y'all did not, or somebody did not want the bathrooms to be used because it was too taxing on the lifeguards. Well, surely there's, out of 21 employees, somebody can clean the bathrooms. And if not, if you would leave us with a key, so if somebody had to go to the bathroom, they could, but we could make an agreement that we won't use the bathrooms, that we'll just cover ourselves with our towels when it's time to go home and go home. And if you believe there's too many people swimming at one time, that you think that's an issue, we could all decide that some swim from 6 to 7 and some swim from 7 to 8. I'm sure that we would all be cooperative in order to get to use the $4 million pool that we as taxpayers are paying for. So I really hope that you will reconsider and allow us to use this pool. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else for 5-minute public comment? Okay. Next up, we move to business and discussion items. First up is economic development at 1205 Alston.
Nobody's here. I told him he didn't have to.
Well, he's, yeah,
I meant Will is.
okay, so he doesn't have to be here. Did everybody look through the pictures and everything in your packet? That blighted structure there at 1205 Alston, wherever the address was?
Yes, 1201.
1201? Well, no, I think that's his. 1205, and that's where
is
the...
that? Yeah, is
next
the property.
to it. We just need a motion then from somebody to have a motion to approve.
I had a question on
Yes.
it. I don't think there's any mention in here, correct me if I'm wrong, about there's a very large, I think it's an elm tree, that's also kind of acting a little derelict on that property. It looks like it could fall and probably cross into neighbor's property. Is that planned on being?
There's an issue there with that tree, and I believe with a lot of water runs through there when they get a hard rain.
It's a low
storm drain area, and it is washed out underneath the sidewalk and everything
That's
there
what
too. And I think the tree's right there by it. It kind of got underneath the roots. That tree wasn't in good shape. I think.
It'd just be nice to clean up all the issues with the
Well,
property at the same time.
the person's here. I guess if you guys would like to hear from him what his
Yeah,
plans
he
are
can
with
come
it,
to
yeah.
the podium.
Matt? Hello.
Evening, Council. Yes, the tree that you're talking about, it is planning to come down
Okay.
with the demolition of the house.
Okay, good, great. I knew that it was, I noticed it before I noticed the house, since it's leaning pretty
Yes.
hard, and we're supposed to have 60 mile per hour winds tonight. It might come down for you, but
I've been waiting for 6 years for it to go.
all right, great. Thank you.
They say just the demo cost, Matt.
Okay.
That's a little win for that.
Any more questions? I'd have a motion.
Move to approve the grant, I get, economic development grant for Matt Seagram for the property at 1205 Alston.
Second.
All right. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
8-0.
8-0. All right. Next up is a CARES Act grant for the airport.
This is a grant that the FAA actually approached us for. It covers operation costs at the airport, and we can spend it over the next 4 years. We submit receipts, they pay us as we operate the airport. It's pretty simple.
Move to approve the CARES Act grant for the airport.
Second. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
8-0.
Okay. Next, we have the, how do you say that?
CALIA.
CALIA. Accreditation with Todd and Matt. Hello.
Evening.
Here's another letter of recommendation from the city of Andover. City of Andover is the next largest than us agency that's been clear. They've been clear for a long time. They are actually an advanced CALIA agency. The CALIA stands for the Commission of Accreditation for Law Enforcement Agencies, and we have looked at it for several years because it standardizes all of our policies, our responses, helps with liability, because there's 181 standards that we have to meet before we can become accredited, and it takes approximately 3 years to get it done. And during the process, they actually come to Marysville and they meet the public, interview the public, and get their input on the agency to whether or not they'll accept us as a accredited agency as well. We have to have community policing at a different level. There was originally, an $8,000 fee to start with. We have an opportunity now. The whole reason we haven't done it is because of that, because of what it costs. Matt has found a way that we can apply tomorrow to have that $8,000 waived. We won't have to pay it.
For how long?
Well, hold on. We'll have to pay a fee of $2,750. I think that's what it was. But we can take that out of our drug funds. Then there's another $2,750 due in 3 years. And after that, it is a $4,000, right, every year after that, to stay accredited for that.
Where's that gonna come from?
Yeah, it could come from, if we have the seizure money at the time, we can come from that. We've also got to call into certain people that help us out financially from other funds, from seizure funds as well, if they'll help us out with that. But it is a yearly thing. You can lose your accreditation, or you can keep it going. And I feel that it be a great thing for us. Everything is standardized. As a matter of fact, one of the programs that comes with it, that we have to get with it, even Austin can use it as a policy. What's it called? Power DMS. And if Austin's putting out a new policy, or the city of Marysville is, or if we do just interdepartmental, each officer that goes online, each officer has to sign in and approve that they've actually read the policy. And they can do the same thing with all the city employees as well. Then nobody can say they never saw the new city policy or what it meant. A lot of it comes down to liability. When we go into court, if we ever get sued, you go from here to here when you are an accredited agency, because you have fulfilled the national standard of the 181 points that we have to fulfill, or 181 standards. But this is the first time we've been able to look at it, because we would find a way as possible to waive that $8,000. Now, don't get me wrong, if we can't waive the $8,000 and we don't get it, then we won't be going for it. So this is neither or on the grant thing. I'm not asking for $8,000.
Okay.
If I was going to ask for $8,000, it'd be for something else that we can do. But for the rest of the money, I see a huge bonus for us for liability protection, for standardizing everything we do. Is there anything else I'm missing?
You said it was $4,000 yearly?
After that. Now, if we go to Power DMS after that, it adds an additional money to it. But Matt there's another program he says we can look at too as well without that. We won't need that for at least 3 years if we decide to go with it.
Just in here, it says there's an $8,000 yearly fee for continued accreditation.
What that is, it's broken out. If you look down below.
Right.
The CALIA is the $4,000, and the other is the Power DMS if we want it. That's the policy tracking and stuff.
Right.
But that's only if we can afford it. If you can't, you don't get it.
But then also
What's that?
it says it's very time consuming.
It is very time consuming for us because we have to go over every standard, 181 standards to fulfill what we have.
So we're already short-staffed. You always complain of having...
It has nothing to do with the officers doing it. The only people that be working on it is Matt and I.
Well, I know, but then you're always saying that you're short-staffed, so then that means that takes you guys off of doing other things when you could be out.
No, it really wouldn't. You're talking about paperwork and stuff here. This isn't taking away our patrol time, which is minimal anyway. If you look at our job descriptions, like I'm only limited to so many patrol hours anyway. We're sitting at the desk, we might as well be doing it.
And then, this is more meetings you have to go to then, because it said there's conferences?
Yeah, there's, the conference in July is like, so it's by Zoom. That's how you get certified. It's by a conference, but we have to do it by Zoom.
So you're not going to be going out of town to meetings, because it says there's out-of-town meetings?
I'm not. If I send somebody out for a meeting for Kalia, it's probably going to be mad.
Well, but we're still going to have to pay for this, because it says like it's a 4-day meeting, so you're going to have meals, transportation.
If it's a certification, it also counts towards his hours then. You're paying for that anyway. I'd rather pay for something we're using.
Every year?
We have to have 40 hours every year per officer, no matter what. I tell you guys that all the time. This is just another way to fulfill it. And that's by state statute. You can't even change that.
Are we following any accreditation protocol right now?
No, we are not. Basically what we do is smaller departments, like the sheriff's, where we share policies, stuff like that. There is no accreditation to what we're doing right now.
Does the sheriff's department use an accrediting body or anything?
They've never looked at it either.
So why are there not more towns doing this if it's such a wonderful thing?
It's work. You have to maintain your standards, which means you have to maintain a level of professionalism. There's a lot of agencies don't want to do that. We do.
And if you don't maintain it, they can
They'll take it
remove
away
you
from
from
you.
the...
It's a year by year. They can take it away from you. That's something you work for every year.
There really isn't a whole lot. There's none. I mean, they have Andover and they have Derby.
There's 12 in
Kansas
the
City,
state
yeah.
right now,
Nothing too much in the upper tier.
and there's 3 or 4 that are in the same, if we start, they're in the same status, or
Yeah,
what
they
I
are.
call it a building status.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a national standard. It's not just Kansas, they're all over the United States.
And just to make it clear, I'm not questioning you.
Sure.
Okay. Tell me what you feel this will do for our force and for the community.
The first thing is, what I like about it is the accreditation people that come in, they can involve the community into whether or not the community feels that we are fulfilling our standards to their level, to the professionalism we should be doing. If we're not, we don't deserve to have it. But what I like about it, not only do we have to agree to it, the city of Marysville, as people that live here, have to agree that we're making it as well. That shows our professionalism and our health of covering the liability even higher. Because they're the national standards, they're known standards. You know, you're not walking into court, say, God forbid we ever get sued. They know that we follow these standards, if we're still certified.
Have we ever been sued?
Well, the city of Marysville was sued several times. You mean the police department?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I've been here, 21 plus years and been sued many times. Have we lost? Only one time on an employee thing or that? No, we have not lost. No. Or did you want to name them all? There's no way. I mean, no, it's like they tell you at the academy when you first go through. If you don't get sued, something's probably wrong, because there's always somebody out there that wants to sue the police department or the city, because that's where the money's at.
Chief Dot, the one thing that you said would be for the taxpayer is you're talking about liability. If you guys do your job, you don't have to worry about liability.
But you'd be amazed what just doing your job or showing a different level of professionalism is different. When you walk into a courtroom, any officer can walk into a courtroom and show he's done his job. You walk into a courtroom with a higher level of professionalism, it's a gold star to the judge if you're going to do that.
You don't think
It's respect.
You don't think you can teach that? You're the chief. You ought to be able to make these guys know this stuff already.
Impossible.
Why?
This stuff here, well, for one, it's copyrighted. You're not gonna teach them anything like that. I can teach them to be good officers. This takes them to a next level of professionalism.
But don't you belong to other organizations that you have
Other
contact
organizations
with?
aren't like this. This is a certifying agency for a law enforcement agency. There are no other agencies like that. There's other agencies that do policy reviews, but nothing like CALEA. No.
So you're not asking for us to sign off on any expenditures at this time? You just want to pursue this?
The only expenditure that we'll have is that $27.50, and it's gonna come out of special law. There's nothing that could possibly come out of general fund for over probably 3 years.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Reading through this, it says, when your agency is ready for assessment, $5,500 will need to be paid. The fee is an estimated cost associated with conducting the assessment.
Is that part of that 27?
That's what you're paying now. The $27.50 that will come out of special law is half now, and when you're ready for accreditation, you pay the other $27.50 in year 3, which funds them coming out.
Okay.
That's when they come out, they hold meetings with the general public, and the general public gets to decide whether or not we're fulfilling the accreditation. Because not only do we fulfill what they give us as these, they can audit us on our reports, on our responses, everything, to whether or not we fulfill the accreditation stall. You know, some agencies, well, like Andover alone, they've done the fire department, the dispatch, everybody, because they have seen the payback.
So what's this new agency accreditation manager training, $635?
That's that certifying thing I was talking about, going to training. That's the certification class that you talked about he'd have to go to. Yeah, Matt would go to that. No, by Zoom, by the computer, but you do have to pay the fee for the class, which is cheaper than sending them somewhere anyway. I'd rather do it by Zoom. Oh, yeah.
Lodging.
It's a lot cheaper.
Okay.
We've been doing a lot of training by Zoom here this last few months.
Everybody has,
Yeah.
Well, that's this year because you can't go anyplace because there isn't anything.
You only have to take that once, don't you?
The conference yearly is not required. You're only required to do the one-time certification.
Well, I understand that, but the conferences that you're going to this year are Zoom because nobody's holding any conferences to go to personally.
But that's in our favor, though.
Well, yeah.
That we don't have to pay $6 whatever plus travel and everything else.
We don't know, this may be the sign of the times, doing more over Zoom because of the cost of taking your officers out, number one, paying for lodging, number two, food, and whatever else is involved. And I think once this door has been cracked open for the Zoom, it just may continue.
I can tell you a lot of the, like FBI LEDA classes, they've created those now to be online as well, where you don't have to travel for all those either to get an officer a certain level of command training.
So
A lot
Matt,
of companies are doing that now.
wherever you've been before, came from, have you ever had this accreditation where any police department?
I have not. It's always been a goal of mine personally and professionally to really increase that professionalism level. So something I've interested in, but nothing I've ever pursued.
Okay.
You know, the smaller agencies, to crack that $8,000 in the beginning, nobody wants to throw $8,000 out there because from what you can tell, it's not really going to much except padding them. But they give away 10 of them a year. They've only given a couple away this year, and it's really good. It looks good if we want to apply for it, but there's a date we have to apply for it by to try to receive it. And again, if we don't get to $8,000, we're not going to pursue it.
So then if you don't get it this year, can you reapply next year?
Yeah.
Okay.
Matt has talked to the district guy. I haven't.
Okay.
What is it that you're here for tonight?
What I'd like is permission to go ahead and apply for the $8,000 grant and to start the process of accreditation. Once we sign the contract, then we're going to lock that in for 3 years, and we're going to start the accreditation process. It can take up to 3 years to do it.
And we're not gonna buy no more cop cars, and we ain't gonna buy no more police officers, because it says in all these things about how it's time consuming, it takes all this.
There's nothing in there that says that we won't hire or buy more patrol cars or hire more people. No.
Yeah.
Am I asking to create positions? No.
Well,
I'm just happy when we can fulfill the holes we have.
Kinda like the contents on the can, the first label's the most, and it should be wages, and we keep adding these things, pretty soon the wages aren't the big thing with the police department.
No, this isn't asking to add really anything. The yearly fee and starting in 3 years, yeah, but wages and cars and all that, that's a lot different. We're not asking to increase any of that.
Yeah.
All right, well, I move to approve. We allow Chief Ackerman and Assistant Chief Simpson apply for the CALEA agency support program accreditation.
Second.
Okay. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
6-2.
6-2.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next up is disc golf.
Kyle?
Evening,
Hello.
council. How's everybody doing today?
Good.
Great.
It's good to see all of you and be here finally. I'm not sure what we were wanting to discuss this evening. I'm assuming it's the status of where we were at, which kind of had, we were having a tournament and then the COVID kind of put a halt to all of that. So I guess I would like to discuss with Brian Frogel a time that we could possibly set a weekend to do this within the next probably month and a half, 2 months. I know that stuff gets very crazy around 4th of July and that sort of thing, especially with summer sports. It looks like those are kind of firing up again. So I would request a little bit of time to try to find a date that's acceptable for us, I guess, and then see if we can get a good showing of people and get commitments to have the 9-hole at Lakeview and the 9-hole tournament at City Park, if that's possible. So I don't know if that's what you were thinking. I was assuming that that's kind of what the nature of this conversation.
It's kind of whatever council wants to do.
Yeah, I think given the situation, a little bit of flexibility and grace, and that's probably a good idea.
Yeah, when this all happened, I was like, oh, dang.
Yeah.
That's everybody's thoughts.
For a lot more reasons than just disc golf.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you said 6 to 8 weeks, you'd hope?
Yeah, that is, I'd say that's plenty of time.
And this is something where, I mean, social distancing wise shouldn't be a really big issue, I think.
No, as long as we're adhering to the groups and the number of groups, or number of people per group, yeah, I don't think that should be an issue at all.
I would so say proceed forward.
Do you think you could let us know? I mean, do you think you'll know something in 2 weeks?
I would like to. I'd like to try to, I'll probably speak with Brian in the next couple days and see if we can set a tentative date on that and see if he has an idea of his schedule. Like I said, I know ball's kind of picking up and stuff right now, so it may be a little bit crazy, but I would like to, I will be in touch with all of you.
Or you can get a hold of Jason or Austin or somebody and we can get it that way.
That will work, yep. And then we can go from there and kind of decide what weekend will work for everybody and start promoting it.
You want the rec committee involved in on that too?
If you'd like to be, yeah, I'd be more than happy to keep everybody in the loop with that and, meet and kind of see what I need to fulfill and what part you guys would like to have in it as well, so.
Okay. Anything else? We don't need a motion or anything like that, do we?
Not if
So
we're not
we're just
doing anything
still
else.
going with the plan is
Yeah,
picking up where we left off, I
It's
guess.
still there, it's just, yeah, I was kind of waiting to see what may happen with everything, so.
Cool.
But, Thank you.
Right, thank you.
Thank you.
Yep. Good evening.
Thanks, Kyle.
Yep.
Next up are the pool passes.
Cindy put together this memo because we were having such a short season. I think we calculated we normally have 82 days to swim in. This year we calculated about 49 if we start on June 22nd. So almost, I mean, not quite cuts it in half, but almost. So we are proposing selling individual passes at $25 a piece and family pass at $60. And punch cards would be sold as normal because they're still cheaper than a daily pass, and that doesn't have any effect on how many days are left in. And the prices are shown there, 10 punches for $35 and 20 punches for $60. So that's our proposal, and was looking for how you guys thought.
What's your projection on money we would bring in from this? I mean, do you think it'd be half of what we brought in on passes and punch cards last year?
Probably less than half.
So, do you have a ballpark number? I tried to look back and find it, but I couldn't very easily.
I did not look, I wish I would have known.
Sorry.
I'm trying to think,
I tried to find it and didn't want to bother you asking, but.
I have,
50 sounds about right for a normal season.
50 passes?
1,000.
No.
Oh, heavens, no.
Oh, no.
Let's see. Oh, wait, hold on. I'll get it. One second.
Well, I have on my desk, in the pools, there would be what we did last year, what we sold in passes.
Yeah, I thought, I mean, in theory it would be half, but realistically it'd probably be.
Because I don't know that
40%.
you're gonna get the same number of people that will come.
I don't know, yeah.
'Cause they're-
While we're waiting for him, could I ask a question? Who made this up? We got it with our packet.
Those were the original thought process that came out. I just typed what came out of what they originally said. Is passes separate?
Yes.
Oh, that.
I can give them actual if they want actual.
Direct committee.
Pool passes, sorry, I was thinking of something else.
This year, I don't know.
2018, we sold $27,340 worth in pool passes.
How many?
$27,340 worth of pool passes.
That was in 18, right?
That was 2018, actual number. And it looks like, so 15 was 28,895, 16, 28,216, 17, 27, 245.
So it's hanging around the same number
It's
every
hanging
year.
around the same number, yep. Yeah, I don't know if we'll get half of that this year.
So you're expecting half that number,
Maybe less.
Less.
Yeah. But we wouldn't have as many expenditures as before. So, not that we look to make up for anything in the pool.
I still want to know about this. There's a lot of people here that want to know why they're not going to get to do the morning swim.
Right.
Yeah. And we'll probably be, I'd imagine Diane will be probably bringing that up later, won't you?
Well,
Diane?
I think that's probably a good a time as any to bring it up. Why we're talking about.
We're talking about
Yeah,
this.
let's discuss that during sports and rec section maybe.
Yeah.
Let's get going on.
This is an agenda for the pool passes. It's not to discuss the pool.
I move
Okay.
we set the individual pool pass for $25 for individual, family for 60, 10 punch cards for 35, 20 punches for 60.
Second.
Okay, any more discussion?
Do we have any kind of, sorry to keep asking for statistics, do we have any kind of breakdown as far as on passes and punch cards, how many of those are Marysville residents or at large?
We don't have it broken down. Do we have that
Yeah, we could
information?
work on that. Okay,
No,
in my head, I can tell you that pool passes out of town are probably the women who swim that come from out of town. Very few, I mean, there are out of town kids that are in USD 364, live in the country, live in Home City, but very few other people buy pool passes from other towns, if that's what you're looking for, unless they're women that swim. I mean, I could get the
No,
numbers
it's
if
not,
you really
I don't
want.
need it specific, I was just kind of curious how that you thought broke out.
Usually they break out according to, the little cities around all have their own pools, so the kids go there on a daily basis
Right.
for babysitting and stuff.
Yeah.
Any more discussion? I'll just say I'm still concerned about, and it's been kind of discussed a few times, about the day passes and punch cards. I'm just still afraid that you're gonna end up with buses from Manhattan and other places coming and just buying a bunch of day passes, and using the pool. And I don't know if there's a realistic.
There's a man to ask right there,
Yeah.
Mike.
Well, I think the risk is small.
Okay.
The only thing, from my perspective, would be, I know you have a punch system, but I would rather see a sign-in system that when you come in and get punched.
We have that as well.
Oh, the sign-in?
Yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, that way, you know, you know who is here and when.
Like contract tracing,
Yeah, exactly. For if something happened, then you.
And we do have that going on this year. Everyone that
And
comes
that's
to the pool will get their
yeah.
name and phone number. Everyone.
maybe get a city or something too.
Right.
Yeah.
We can.
That's on that.
And the admissions person will do it. Not, they won't sign their
But I
own.
think that
The admissions person will do
You
it.
have, yeah, a few people that would come up to do that. I mean,
But typically, we've had quite a few people come from Manhattan to swim here. And-
We had a group last week that called and was asking
well.
about.
They wanted a party.
Party.
It doesn't have a pool this
From
year.
Manhattan.
Correct, and so
that
it's gonna be
might
worse.
Increase the number
Yeah.
too,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
so, you know, they probably come for other activities too, so.
The chlorine theoretically should kill it.
Yeah,
In
yeah,
the-
yeah,
in the water.
that's, you know, probably so. And, you know, we're not limiting numbers, crowds, you know.
The social distancing deal,
You
right.
know, it's just,
I know kids are kids, you know, they like to hang over
Sure,
each other in the
sure.
pool and everything else when they get there and
yeah. Just, having the pool open is a certain risk, so I don't think, you know, it doesn't depend on who's there. It's, you're gonna have a certain number of people there, unrestricted, and, I don't think that, it increases the risk any higher than
Okay.
having anybody in the, you know, coming from the country or.
You able to hear him back there?
No.
You gotta get up close to one of these mics to talk though.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't think that, I didn't realize that, with the pool and people coming from outside the county, would probably make that much difference in risk to the pool. Just having the pool open and having, you know, a bunch of kids there is a risk, so the county itself is not restricting any numbers or limiting any travel from any area, so I don't think there's a major concern with having, you know, if you have people come from Manhattan to swim. So from the public health perspective, that's my view.
Okay. All right. We had a motion and a second, so any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? You know. Next up, we have the murals at 617 Broadway at the old police station.
Morning, Joe. I can't see over on
I don't see her out there unless she's around the corner.
Okay, I got contacted by Maureen Chris to talk about possibly making our old police department building a little bit more accommodating as the trailhead and for people to use on a regular basis. She submitted this proposal, possibly painting on the outside and sprucing it up on the inside with some signage and some words, hello and welcome, and more information added for the trails. I mean, you can look through all these proposals, or the whole proposal, but that's basically what she was looking at. They would, I think I remember right, they were gonna just take care of this. They were just asking for permission to do this to our building. The one thing we do have a concern with is we've recently found mold inside the building. due to some water infiltration. If you guys were wanting this to happen, we need to get the mold taken care of first and see if we can take care of it. So that's just a cautionary tale out there for you guys to consider.
What part of the building is the mold in?
And back in the office area where I think a lot of it's due because there used to be a storm drain, or, well, not a pit that runs into the storm drain. They filled it with concrete and the concrete didn't exactly hold all the water out when it gets backed out. Yeah.
So, I want to make sure we're solving the problem, not just patching over it.
Right, no, we would have to take some of the walls out to get it fixed.
While we're there, why don't we go behind it where the sewer line was and disconnect it, cap it properly? That used to be the old fire station there, and that's why that pit was there.
Yeah.
So we need to figure out if we can get in there and find that line and
And I haven't looked too far into it, does the storm sewer go out to the front or to the back?
go to the back.
Back, okay. So that would make that process a little bit simpler to cap it off. We can definitely look into that.
I mean,
Yeah, might as well fix it right.
if we're gonna fix it, you might as well fix it right. I know every time, because otherwise, every time you get a good 3-inch rain in 20 minutes or so, it's gonna come right back up through the system again and backflow the problem.
As far as them doing this, I think that's great. I mean, if they want to spend money and effort on it, and it improves something for the community.
The designs look great that
Yeah.
they've laid out here.
Yeah, I mean, I think we probably want somebody in staff just to go and check and kind of make sure it's kind of going as planned and everything else, but.
Yes.
I move to approve, we allow them to move forward with these improvements, but that we also make sure, at least, if not in advance, at least at the same time, work on getting this sewage problem solved.
Who's gonna have the key to open it and close it?
The police do.
The police do?
Yeah.
So what are the hours gonna be then?
Because
Yeah, we
the police
discussed it
already
before.
unlock several other things.
If parks, they run it all the same as the parks
Yep.
does?
I thought Dawn to
Dawn to
dusk.
dusk.
Dawn to
usually.
dusk.
Thinking,
Yeah,
Okay.
And the parks cleans it. Our parks guys clean the restrooms.
yep.
Okay.
right, we have a motion, we got a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
8-0.
Are the hours posted? I mean, is there gonna be a sign or something that says what time the bathrooms are open or anything like that?
Yeah.
Let's see what we can.
Get that in there too with the other
Okay.
stuff.
All right, I will look into what they would like to do, but we'll try to get hours posted
Yeah, might be a good idea, so people kinda know,
when it's open.
yeah.
Yep.
Just curious, was this building actually on that visualization group that from K-State came in to improve that building? Is that?
What did
Yeah,
they
there were a
do
lot
to,
of
what they
different-
looking to improve?
They wanted to put a mural on the side, or they wanted to tear it down and redo a whole thing.
So I
They
remember
really
them
wanted to redo
talking
it.
about building
I know,
another
they had both
building.
sides, but they did want to put a mural on the side of it. That was
So
in the
this-
visualization.
They did that, okay.
Yeah, they did.
I think it'd look nice, because it's kind of just a
Right,
box.
if we're gonna keep
I mean,
Blank canvas,
Yeah, if we're gonna keep
Yeah.
it.
All right, next up, we have the grant for Lakeview Sports Complex. And was somebody here for that? I
Yes.
think?
Amanda, that's you. Oh, and you might not have to.
My name is Amanda Horn. I'm with the Regional Planning Commission. I'm new there. I've just moved to Kansas, so I'm very, very new. I'm actually helping you guys with the grant application that is being written for the Lakeview Sports Complex, and it's phase 1 of a multi-phase plan. And I think the newest budget got
I
given out to everybody.
passed it around to them.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I think I have asked the city to put out an advertisement on the Facebook page and for your agenda, just to say that if the public is interested, they could have a chance now to comment on it. I don't know if anybody is here for that specifically. I guess not.
I don't think so.
That's a good thing, no negative comments. So I think the thing that we are trying to wrap it up before July 1st, that's when the application is due. And it's been kind of a push because I started kind of in April, and that's when I think the whole application got started. So it's kind of been a rush to try and put it together, plus having Corona through everything. So it's been a bit of a mission to get it all done quickly. It's not an easy application. There's a lot of paperwork involved in it. And I think from your guys' side, what I would like to ask is whether or not you guys would approve of the budget and can we move forward with the project? Should I be turning the application in July, or is this going to be something that needs to be postponed?
Yes, Terry.
I really feel that you're here too early. We got a budget meeting coming up. It would be kind of nice to get our budget meeting taken care of. And maybe at the next meeting, we could be doing the talk about this. To tell her anything, good or bad, until we get our budget deal worked out, I think we're jumping the gun. I think we should put it off till after our budget. When is the budget meeting?
Thursday. Yeah.
Thursday.
Thursday.
11th.
And we're gonna have the next meeting, then that'd be a good time for you to come, I'm sorry to say, but I don't think we need
That's
to be.
okay. This is one of those things where we actually were given a bit of grace period because this was supposed to be in April already, and there was no ways we would have made that deadline in any case. So it does have to be in July. The only thing I can say from my side is that I can try and get as much paperwork done as possible, and we pretty much got everything sorted out. It's just depending on whether you guys are able financially to do the project. So I will, from my side, I will do everything to make sure that once that meeting happens, if you guys decide to go forward with the project, I will do my best to have everything ready from my side. so
What's the
that we can
grant
get it done.
percentage?
It's a 50% local match.
We have to pay something.
And I just want to say as well, it would be better, I will speak with Katie tomorrow, who's the one that's in charge of the grant from Kansas Wildlife side of things. I'll speak with her tomorrow. Just to find out, would it be better for you guys as the city to try and apply by July 1st, and with the possibility that the funding might not be there, but we could stretch it out long enough that the funding could be got together so that it could be done maybe the year after that, whether they would allow that to happen, or if it would be better to wait if the funding is not available. So I will speak with her about that and just try and understand what the situation is there.
That might be a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I can do
Yeah,
that.
I guess what council's gonna have to decide, we know we're gonna be spending money on our share of the fire station. And also, we're trying to get everything together for a CDBG grant for whatever we have to do to our lagoons. And we know that will just,
Talk up a
that'll be
little louder,
expensive.
I don't think everybody can hear you.
We've also got the CDBG grant that we're working on for whatever we're gonna have to do to lagoons. And we know that's gonna be expensive, whatever they tell us to do. And then we've got this too, and it's whether council thinks that we want to try and pursue another grant. Knowing we've also got these other projects that, I'm not saying I don't like the idea of improving Lakeview, but the sewer system is pretty important, and the fire station is already started, and that's happening. So
And
it's
roads.
so it's where council
Lots of roads.
feels on this. Yeah, and roads, would does council want to spend the money on roads instead of Lakeview improvements? So that's kind of, I guess, the discussion that you need to have is this a project you want to try and accomplish this year, or do you want to pay it, you want to put it off for another year, kind of see where we're at?
Well, I mean, I think the lagoons are our priority.
Yeah.
That's important
Yep, we got
for
lots
the
of stuff.
functioning city. Like I said, we've already got the paperwork going, I believe, on the fire station.
Yes.
So, yeah, I mean, it's a beautiful setup you guys have, but right now, we didn't know that the lagoon was gonna go bad. So that put a real wrench into everything on top of, everything else. So I'm not trying to rain on your parade.
Well, listen, I'm involved in all three of those projects, so
She's doing all three grants.
Okay.
She knew.
I am
Yes.
very aware of
Okay, well, good,
the
thank you.
struggle.
I move we put off applying for this grant until after our
Budget meeting.
budget meeting.
Second.
Okay. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Can I say one more thing?
Yes.
I just am a little bit worried. I will find out from Katie tomorrow, but and I'm sorry, I'm new to America as well, so I don't really
Yeah.
know how things work here. But if your budget, does your budget get approved on Thursday?
No.
When does the budget get actually approved?
August.
Yeah.
In August.
In August.
I'm just warning that there might be a problem in that regard if you are wanting to apply for the grant in July, but I will find out first. Whether that approval has to be made before the July 1st deadline.
Well, basically what he was saying is, we'll find out if we want to devote that money in our budget. And so
Yes.
it's not pending the August deadline of our budget. It would just be a pending discussion on Thursday.
Yes, but the grant may require that it's written into your budget that's getting approved in July 1st. That's what I'm trying to say.
Interesting.
Yeah, maybe. I will find out for sure from her tomorrow.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Next up, we have the PBC Resolution 2020-04, redemption of PBC bonds.
That'd be you. Rick Gaines.
Yes, Rick?
Why aren't we doing that in our meeting?
Can everybody
What's
hear me? Okay, through this?
Yeah.
Why aren't we in our building commission deal to do this?
Because this involves a...
You want to explain that, Rick?
Yes, Rick.
We've got a city resolution that we need to pass, and we've got a PBC resolution.
Why? Tell me why.
Well, the city resolution authorizes the PBC to call bonds, and the PBC then calls, in their resolution, calls for a bond sale to do that, to do the bond sale. The city is authorizing the PBC to move forward with a sale of the bonds.
Now the what? You gotta talk better with that mask on. I know what it's like, but go ahead.
The city, in their resolution, requests that the PBC conduct a bond sale to secure bids on new bonds to refund or pay off your old bonds at a lower rate to save you money.
Why don't this resolution show us what we're doing with what money we're using for and everything else? There's no figures in here.
There's figures in there.
If you'll give me an opportunity to make my presentation, I think I may answer a lot of your questions. Probably not all of them, but a lot of them, I think. If I could do that, Councilman.
All right, I just thought I'd happen to know, we got a couple million around, but we don't have enough to pay. And you're talking about selling all the bonds, right?
We're talking about issuing new bonds.
New bonds for all.
To pay off your old bonds.
Yes. At a lower, new bonds at a lower interest rate.
Okay, but we're not getting rid of any debt. We're issuing debt by getting new bonds.
Yeah.
Is that correct? Yes or no?
We're saving money by doing that.
Yes.
No, we're not.
Yes, we are.
We're saving money in interest, yes.
That's your argument. That's fine. You're entitled to it.
Why don't we let Rick...
him talk.
Yeah, let him
All right.
present, and then council can discuss after he's...
Back in 2013, we issued bonds, $4,280,000 in Public Building Commission revenue bonds for the pool. They had a call date on them, and when I say a call date, that means like when you refinance, say, a 30-year mortgage on your house, and you take out a new mortgage to pay off the existing mortgage, and you do it at a lower rate, that's called a refinancing. Well, in the bond industry, we call it a refunding. And you can't do that until you get to your call date. Well, your call date, your first call date is September 1st of 2021. And you can call those bonds 1 year ahead of time. So September 1st of 2020. So we're actually going to call your bonds in 2021 to maturity. We're going to call those September 1st of 2020. And the rates today are lower than what they were when we issued our bonds in 2013. And so we're proposing to conduct a bond sale to issue new bonds at lower rates to pay off your old bonds at a higher rate. And just based upon initial projections, and of course we won't know what the rates are until we actually conduct the bond sale, but going through the calculations and an analysis based upon current market conditions, it looks like we might be able to save you in the neighborhood of $300,000 plus or minus. Now, we won't go through and do a refunding unless we can save you money. If we can't save you money, then there's no sense in doing a refund. And so we're only going to do this refunding if we can save you money. And again, based upon current market conditions, it looks like we might be in the neighborhood of $300,000 plus or minus. And so we want to proceed with that and go through the process and see where the bids come in. And at that time, we'll make a decision on whether we're saving you money, and if we are, we'll move forward, and if we're not, then we don't move forward. So that's what we're proposing to do, and to start that process, the city has a resolution. It's resolution.
We had the resolution.
Yeah. 2020-04. Yeah, 2020-04, and that's requesting the redemption of the Public Building Commission revenue bonds that we issued in 2013. So the city takes action on that, and assuming that you approve that particular resolution, this particular resolution, then we will recess the city council meeting. We will open a Public Building Commission meeting, and all the council members are members of the Public Building Commission. We'll take action on the Public Building Commission resolution, which authorizes the sale of the holding, the conducting of a sale of the bonds. That's when we get the bids. And assuming you approve that resolution, the PBC approves that resolution, we'll adjourn the PBC meeting, reconvene the city council meeting, and you'll go back on with your regular business. So I'll stop right there first of all. Are there any questions about what I've said so far? Yes, sir.
That means we're going to be like, we're going to do this, and then if we do this other thing in the next, when we go open this other commission up, it's like beating a check to the bank.
It's like what?
We're going to say we're going to do this, but if we don't do the other, we're actually doing something that we can't even call legally right yet. Isn't that correct?
Well, let's back up a second. I know we've got a few members that are, I think Todd and Kevin were on the governing body when we formed the PBC in 2013, and it looks like maybe everybody else is new. The Public Building Commission, by statute, is a financing vehicle that cities can use to finance projects, but they have no way of generating revenue. The PBC cannot generate revenue by statute. Therefore, and the PBC is a financing body under a city or a county, either of those two. In your case, it's under the city. And the statutes say that the way that the PBC gets its revenue is through a lease with the city. So there's an existing lease between the city. The city uses their sales tax money. They have a lease arrangement with the PBC. They make the lease payment to the PBC. The PBC has issued the bonds, and they make the bond payments. And so the PBC is in essence a body. It is a body of the city. But the city has to request that we go through this process by statute in order to satisfy the statutes, in order to do financings through PBC. It may not be the answer you're looking for, but I mean, it's by statute, that's the process we have to go through.
How much will it cost us to do this?
Well, the cost is, there's a cost of issuance.
How much?
I'll get it for you.
Okay?
While you're there looking for that, Rick, can you tell us real quick what we're paying now in percentage and what you maybe could forecast of what it might be?
You mean as far as the rates?
Yes.
The rates? Yeah, your rates right now started out at 2.5%. Your first bond payment was 2014. It was 2.5%, and it goes out to 3.5% in 2033.
And it goes up, you said, in 2033?
No, we have 20-year bonds, and
Yes.
each bond, so there's 20 different bonds. The first bond is a year in length.
Yeah.
Second bond is 2 years in length, the third bond is 3 years
Yeah.
all the way out. And there's an increasing scale as you go out in time from that first bond interest payment of 2.5, 20 years out is 3.5. So it's a sliding scale up to
Okay.
3.5.
That's
I'm going down, but it's up to 3.5.
Yeah. And where are we at now on this, you said?
In 2021, it's 2%.
It's at 2%?
Well, okay, here's the other deal. I'm sorry. When you have a competitive bid, the bidder of your bonds obtains some of their fees through the difference in interest rates. As an underwriter, and you're issuing your bonds at par, that means 100%. If the bond is priced at $1,000, and you're going to pay $1,000 for that bond, that's at par. You can buy a bond sometimes for a greater price than $1,000 or less than $1,000. And the way that a competitive bid works is they make some of their money from the difference in what they pay you in terms of an interest rate and what they sell those bonds for, and that's a lower interest rate, and that difference is the money they make. So for the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, the first 7 years of your bonds were at 2.5%. And then they went to 2% up to 3.5%. If you did not have a competitive bid and you just had an underwriter come in and do the refunding, the rates then at par were 0.6% out to 3.5%. That's what an investor bought those bonds for. But the people that bid your bonds and what you're paying is 2.5% for the first 7 years, and then it drops to 2 and then back up to 3.5. Okay, so let's get to Mr. Hughes' question here. Based on an estimated size of $3,195,000 in bonds, and we don't know whether that's the right amount until we actually conduct the bid letting. And at that time, we'll determine, based upon what type of discount or premium that is assigned to your bonds, we'll know whether we have the right money to be able to pay off your old bonds. But just trying to estimate it at this point, $3,195,000 in bonds, and based upon that amount of par of bonds, we're estimating the cost of issuance will be $56,236.25.
To sell them.
That's to issue them. That's to issue.
That's going to be the new issue.
Yeah, that's to issue.
What's it costing us to refund these bonds now that we're doing?
That's the cost of paying all the fees and costs associated with issuing the new bonds. And the analysis that I shared with you, the $300,000 plus or minus savings, that includes paying off your old bonds, paying these costs, the $56,000 in cost of issuance, and the net result is approximately $300,000 based upon where rates are today.
So it's around $300,000 after all the fees.
Correct. That's the bottom line. That would be the savings.
So there's no cost in this redemption. I mean, we're not going to lose anything doing that. but it's going to be built into when we reissue new bonds.
There's a cost, but what we're saving in
I
the
want to hear
lower interest
from
rate.
Rick.
Okay.
The cost of issuance, literally, the cost of issuance, that's what we call it, which is the cost of issuing the bonds, is in the ballpark, it is at $56,000, based upon the $3,195,000 we believe is going to be the size of the bond issue when the bids come in.
That is what the total thing's going to cost us to do this then.
Right, correct.
Total.
That's the cost of issuance.
That means these old bonds will be gone.
Correct.
And we'll have new ones. All right? And what are those interest rates going to be at?
I don't know until the bids come in. That's why you conduct a bid letting, to see what the bids are going to be. But in order to come up with a number to see whether we think it might even be feasible, we've looked at what current market conditions are and whether or not we think it's even feasible to bring it forward to you for consideration. And we believe it is, so that's why I'm here.
But we have to pass these two resolutions in order to get the process started to find out what those interest rates would be.
That's correct.
Now, this includes your commission also?
It includes the municipal advisor's fee. That is correct.
The $56,000?
That's correct. It includes, let me go through what all that includes.
Because when we got them to begin with, it was 70-some thousand.
Pardon?
When we first got the bonds issued, it was 70-some thousand.
Well, remember, we issued $4,280,000, and I don't know whether the $70,000 is the right number or not, because I don't have that paperwork with me.
Well, I don't
recall what we did in 2013,
But the bonds were.
but the bond size was another $1,100,000 higher, so the fees would have been higher than 56. The $56,200, that goes to the state treasurer for the new issue setup fee, state treasurer's certificated bond issue fee, the bond printing cost, CUSIP number fees, legal publication costs, attorney general's review, bond counsel fees, municipal advisor fees, and a contingency to round it to the next $5,000. We sell bonds at $5,000 increments, and so we have a small contingency to round it to the next $5,000. All of those fees total up to $56,236.25. And that's an estimate. We don't know whether the Attorney General is going to charge a little more or a little less. Based on historical bond issue sizes of this size, we think we're very close in the ballpark. So if you come back and I am $1 off of this, you'll come back and say, hey, that wasn't the right quote you gave us. Well, this isn't a quote, it's an estimate. This is an estimate of what we think the cost of issuance is going to be.
Okay, one more other question.
Sure.
How are we going to satisfy the voters on the ballot when actually this was done, going to be 20 years. Of course, we've kept it as a single thing that hasn't been used for anything else. So probably somebody could say it could only be a 10-year deal to begin with. But we're going to talk about doing it for 20. But if we pay it off in this first resolution, we no longer have honored the deal to our voters because they should be gone. Once that's paid, we need a new vote.
If we go through with the refunding, the voters will think you're great people. Because you're going to save them $300,000, and what that equates to on a yearly basis, based upon the estimates that we're using, is in the neighborhood of $10,000 a year savings. 10,000 plus, but it's about $300,000 over the remaining years of the bond issue. And that's from 2021 through 2033. And that's a real savings. And if the savings isn't there,
then we're not going to
we don't go through with it. It's a no-brainer. In all the years I've been doing this, I've only had one client not do a refunding that would save them money? And I never found the answer as to why they didn't want to do it, quite honestly. Maybe they own the bonds themselves. I don't know. They wanted the higher interest rates.
Well, what would our payment be if we got a couple million laying around right now in this? We've got money laying here, and we used that, and we kept the other bonds active. Why do we have to redeem them all, and then we wouldn't be issuing debt for this another, making it 3 million? Or three,
Yes.
whatever it is.
We're going to issue less bonds than what you have now.
Only to the point of $1 million. It started out at 4 point something. Now it's gonna be 3 what?
3,195,000.
Okay, 3.
At lower rates.
Huh?
At lower rates.
But we don't know what that rate is yet.
That's correct.
If it's not lower, then we won't do it.
That's correct.
We have the other option.
The bidders that come to the bidders that come to the city, they're going to present bids with rates on them. I have no idea what they're going to bid, but I can tell you that in today's market, rates are as low as they've ever been in history, and so it would behoove you to move forward with this to see what you can get. And like I said, if it doesn't save you any money, we don't go through with it.
Move to approve Resolution 2020-04.
Second.
All right. Motion is second. Is there any more discussion?
I do have one question.
Yes.
Can we use some of our money that we have on hand to offset basically pay those bonds so we're issuing less debt going forward?
Yeah, in fact, Austin, and I'm going to answer your question, I believe, but if I'm not, you let me know.
Okay.
When I did the analysis, you got, on the day that we would close this bond deal, which is August 12th, you've been accumulating funds to make your next anticipated bond payment on September 1st.
Right.
And if you prorate that out, your principal and interest payment, on August 12th, I calculated to be $209,318.75. So I'm planning to use that money. You've already been accumulating it to make that next payment. I'm going to go ahead and use that money to downsize the new bond issue so that we don't have to issue a bond that's larger, because you already got the money accumulated. So in that regard, yes, I'm going to use monies that you have to downsize the bond issue, and that resulted in the $3,195,000 bond issue size.
Okay.
The other thing that's going on is when we issued bonds originally, we had to set aside 10% of the bond proceeds for the debt service reserve fund, and that was $428,500. Well, we're going to take that money and use that to buy down the bond issue and go back with a new debt service reserve fund of 10%, which at $3,195,000 is going to be $319,500. So you're saving $100,000 there just by refunding.
Okay.
Can we add, so that $200,000 you're putting towards it and the $400,000 you're putting towards it, can we add another $500,000 to buy off more of that bond?
Sure, yeah. If you had cash to pay off the principal and interest on the existing bond deal, we wouldn't need to issue bonds. You could just pay cash and pay it all off. Because once you hit the call date, you can either refund the bonds, you can refund some of the bonds, or you can pay them all off.
Okay.
It's your option.
So we got some options to...
But if you want to do that, you need to let me know pretty quick, because
Well, we've got a workshop
We got a
coming up
workshop
next
on
week,
Thursday.
so,
Thursday,
yeah.
Yeah. Okay, we can turn that around.
Okay.
Okay. Got a motion and a second. Is there any more discussion? Probably want a roll call on this one, though.
Okay.
I'm thinking. Roll call?
Pipia,
Yes.
Fry,
Yay.
Schroller,
Yes.
Hughes,
Yeah.
Bikeman,
Yes.
Price,
Yes.
Barron's,
Yes.
Crum,
Yes.
Ado.
Okay. Now we need a motion to recess.
Move to recess, regular city council meeting.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Now we call to order the PBC. Need roll call on that again, no one.
Yes. Pipia,
Yes.
Fry,
Yes.
Schroller,
Yes.
Hughes,
Yes.
Feigman,
Yes.
Price,
Yes.
Barron's,
Yes.
Fromm,
Yes.
8. Do we have a quorum?
Does anybody want to make a motion on Resolution 2020-01?
Move to approve Public Building Commission Resolution 2020-01, sale of refunding bonds.
Okay.
Second.
Second. All right, discussion? Nobody has anything to say? Roll call?
Pipia,
Yes.
Fry,
Yes.
Schroller,
Yes.
Hughes,
Yes.
Feigman,
Yes.
Price,
Yes.
Barron's,
Yes.
Fromm,
Yes.
passes 8-0.
Move to close Public Building Commission.
All right, second.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
7-1, passes.
I voted yes.
Oh, sorry, you were late. I missed it. I'm sorry, Terry.
Thank you, Mayor and Council, and
Yes,
we'll
thank you.
be working with Austin and Holly and Cindy, I'm sorry.
That's fine. You're fine.
Say, we'll have discussions at the workshop next week about what we want to do.
Thursday.
Yeah, right, this week.
In 2 days.
Creeping up on us.
In 2
This
days.
week, and we'll let you know. So,
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Rick.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
We don't have anything on notices and hearings, do we?
I don't think so.
Anything on there? Okay. Next up, we have the consent agenda.
Move to approve consent agenda.
Second.
Any discussion on any of the items?
So
All in
what
favor?
streets were they wanting to close off? They wanted to close off 9th Street and Alley
That
Street?
Walnut or, well, no, the streets too. The alley for sure, but I think that they said that they would like to have the streets.
After the performance,
Closed
they
off
said something
to-
about closing off.
What page that's on?
It's on 92.
Yeah.
We would like to close the alleyway 2 hours prior to
Yes,
performance.
I
To 1 hour
understand.
after.
But then they said something about after the deal. They said, she didn't really say what streets, but then they
Well,
wanted
it
to close
says-
off 9th Street and then
Yeah.
Alley Street.
It says, though it is not imperative, we would be highly it would be highly beneficial to the actors and audience members if the streets to the west and south were closed to traffic during the performance time. But it specifically asked for that.
Right, I thought Austin talked to her about that, did you?
She said basically that it's not 100%, but they'd like it. But I tell, you could, if you want to come up and tell them.
Hello.
Catherine Grissler, communicator. And also I need to stipulate that dates have been changed. We had unforeseen circumstances that it's now Thursday the 25th and Friday the 26th of this month.
What's that you're talking about?
The MAC deal.
Shakespeare at the Kester Park.
625 and 626.
Yes, the alleyways for sure would be very beneficial since we're having seating there. We think it would be public safety to close the alleyway off at least.
So officially, you would like the west and south streets closed?
Only if it's permissible. I mean, it would be nice not to have to hear the traffic drive around there. If you feel like you can't do that to close the streets off, we would understand, but we would really think it would be beneficial to the audience members and performers if we could at least from the alley to the corner of,
This is Saturday and Sunday.
it's a Thursday, Friday.
Has anybody spoken with Las Cabanas about any concerns they would have there as far as street closures, Las Cabanas?
See, we haven't talked to them until we knew for sure that we could close the alleyway.
Okay.
And then we would hope that we would be able to, or you talk to the tenant that lives there. We could talk to Las Cabanas for sure.
Like 9th Street, the post office will be open.
At what time?
It'll be, performance is at 7.
Thursday night.
Yeah, PM.
Yeah.
It'll be
So it'll be
sold out
5,
at
at
night.
5 you want the alleyway closed at
At
5.
least.
I mean, to me, the compromise would be closed.
Also on mine, it says 2, that's
Well,
why I
that's-
said that.
That
was
would
a
have been
different day.
Sunday.
Okay, all right,
If we were to
sorry.
have a Sunday
Okay.
performance.
But I thought if the alleyway on Elm Street, if the alleyway between Elm Street between the alley and between there and 9th Street were closed, and then you left the corner open so people could still come from the south to access the mailboxes. I mean, that'd be the only really thing I think people would need. That would really limit your through traffic. I mean, if you close 9th Street for 1 block and then half a block of Elm Street, people would still have access to the post office drop boxes, and Las Cabanas would still have all their parking, and I'd still think we should talk to them, of course, but, I mean, I think that would be kind of the way to split the hair, where you could decrease the traffic noise, yet still have the businesses have access, especially since it's a limited time.
Yes. Yeah, basically from 5 o'clock to at least 10 p.m. For sure, the alleyway, and that doesn't necessarily have to mean the street could be that long, but at least the alleyway.
Right. Good.
And you would contact the tenant and Las Cabanas?
Can we do that? Because Las Cabanas is our tenant as well.
Right. But so there are people that work, I don't know if they'll be done at 5 at the hair shop.
Yeah,
I don't know what, they park back there in that alley. So we'd have to talk to all of the people along that block, just so they all are aware.
Right.
I mean, normally you would talk to them, but we can try, I mean,
If it works better for businesses to wait till 5:30.
I mean, I can see that being an issue, yeah.
There's some flexibility in there. That's primarily our concerns.
Okay, does anybody want to make an amendment to that motion?
I thought we had a
What?
Did you make didn't somebody make a motion?
Kevin made it, or Keith made a motion and Kevin
Okay.
seconded it. Okay, so tell me exactly
Redo
what
your
you want
motion to go, I approve items 2, 3, and 4.
Okay.
On the consent
All
agenda.
right. You do that.
I move that we amend items 1, 2, 3, and 4 of the consent agenda.
No, 2,
Well,
3,
he's-
and 4.
Oh, 2 and 3.
He's gonna approve these and then make another motion for.
And we'll come back and do 1, right?
Yep.
Seconds, yes.
Any more discussion on those? Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
8-0.
Okay.
Now come back to item 1 of the consent agenda.
All right.
There we go.
Move to approve it.
I'll move to approve item 1 on the consent agenda, the MAC Keser Block performance with the alley closure and the closure of Elm Street between the alleyway and 9th Street between Elm and Broadway, leaving the intersection of Elm and 9th open for vehicular traffic to access the mailboxes, while also we approach the tenants of the Kester block, including Las Cabanas, the hair place, and make sure reflections so that they're all aware. And at the same time, we might as well approach the other side of the street closure, United, the Post Office, and the Advocate, just to make sure everyone's aware and on the same page.
Good call.
It's a long-winded guy.
Second.
Okay.
Are you done?
I'm done.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
8-0.
Thank you.
Thanks, Pat.
Next up, we have appropriations ordinance number 3725.
Move to approve appropriation ordinance 3725 in the amount of $543,459.51.
Have a second?
I want to ask a question first, please.
Well, why don't we, does somebody want to second
I'll
it? And then we'll have
second
this, okay, and discussion. Yep. Yes, Barry?
Yeah, I was just curious about that 14 grand that we spent for cabinets or whatever. Who or what that was for? I just want to know. It's 14.
Oh, that is, when she wrote the check the first time, that company has similar names. What that is the AEDs, and so we voided the first check and rewrote this. Those AEDs.
Defibrillators.
Those things. And the check was written to the wrong vendor to start with. There were 2 vendors that have both sell Zoll, and so, but it has to come back through your ordinance for you to see it when we void the other check.
Okay. I think this is the second time, because it's a repeat, isn't it?
Yes, that's what I said. We had to void the first one, and so we had to bring it back through.
I thought maybe we were doing it twice or something.
No, we voided the first one. That is right.
My one other question before we did it, who, and has it been inspected and everything, the payment off on 14th and 15th there? Has that been inspected and we're all happy with it and everything?
Yep.
I've driven on it a few times. It's definitely an improvement.
Walked through it, drove over it, yes.
And did they test the concrete as we went, correct?
Yes, we tested the concrete as we went.
So there's no, you're not worrying about coming back on none of that?
I'm not worried about the project as
Okay,
as
that's
it is.
good.
Yeah.
That's the only questions I had.
Okay. Any more discussion? Roll call?
Hifia,
Yes.
Fry,
Yes.
Schroller,
Yes.
Hughes,
Yes?
Bikeman,
Yes.
Price,
Yes.
Barron's,
Yes.
Crom,
Yes.
Ado.
Okay. All right, that's it. Austin.
2 items on my, 2 items listed. The first one is budget workshop will be on June 11th at 6 p.m. We couldn't do it on the 10th because of court. The judge notified us that they were starting back up on the 10th. So that was not available. So this was one of the 2 dates during this week that we had discussed previously. The second is financials. General fund is now only about 46,000 below where it was a year ago. This should improve as we transfer the money from bond and interest to the general fund, as it was planned to pay for the fire station. We should also be getting our next installment of the property taxes from the county this month. The state reported that counties had received around 96% of the owed property taxes. I don't know where Marshall County lies in that, but statewide, that was a good report. The water and sewer funds both had an increase in balance over last month's balance. Sewer fund had a 26,000 increase. For sales tax, we received, just for the sales tax itself, about 2,000 more in the month of May than we did in May 2019, even though statewide sales tax was reported as 4% down. So that's good for us. But we're also looking towards next month when the state reported that they received 12% less overall across the state. So I look to see our sales tax possibly dip into next month. Any questions on financials? If not, yeah.
One question.
Okay.
Because it isn't financing, it's, we just passed a resolution that has the wrong time on it. It says 6 o'clock instead of 7. But go ahead with what you're doing.
Okay. The next thing I did, I attached, or there was an attachment in your email with the governing body handbook, which you should all have. If you don't have it, it's in your email. I plan to bring that back for the council's review at the next council meeting so we can vote on it and have it approved for the governing body to be able to use this as a resource as agreed upon, if you guys agree to it. And then the next one, we also wanted to talk about advertising for the next people that would be doing what Marysville Sport and Rec are doing. So we want to put out an advertisement to see if there's interest out there to take that position over to go forward into the next year for Sport and Rec.
What's council's thoughts on that?
I think we should, yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna need somebody to do it.
We're halfway through the year and, yeah.
Do we want to do that, or do we want to have discussions about possibly making that one of our own?
That's another thing, but.
Well, I'm not going to be nice on that creation. They're going to be lumped into handling a few things that it's not going to be fun, but it just gives us a little bit more control, as in, if you take this whole COVID thing and everything, that's what it gives you the type of control of. And sometimes when somebody is getting paid a year's wage and the benefits and everything, it opens up an opportunity for you to get different applicants than like what they have. They've done an excellent job.
Yeah.
Whoever does it, no matter if you go out or if you do somebody your own, they're gonna have to work their butts off to fill them shoes. And they really are. But it's just, I didn't know if you guys wanted to mill that around for a little bit, because when I stop and I think about it, I was thinking that possibly they can do the swimming pool, do the everything, and they're kind of gonna be the head person that's gonna respond to us with the questions that we have, and then they're going to have to manage the summer help that they hire. And it's just a thought. Because also the other thing is they would know where they're at and what needs to be done project-wise, kind of in the off-season.
And we've had, well, the other night I had someone from one group kind of approach me, and I think they're in kind of the preliminary stage. We'd had conversations down here and kind of decided we needed to advertise in the paper for transparency, instead of just working with a group that says, hey, put it in the paper, see if there's anybody else that's interested. And then we'll start having some meetings with this group or another group and see what we can come up with.
What they expect, what we
furnish,
what they'd have to furnish, just basically.
I know, when we talk about these plans, I like redoing Lakeview and everything, that's where I see the benefits of that person working for the city.
Well, there's a couple I talked to that were interested, they want to know how many programs that we're currently running do we want to keep running.
And
That was what I told them.
And that's true too, yeah. And that's why we need to have some meetings and some discussions with whoever is interested in taking it over and decide kind of what we would expect from them. I mean, some of those other programs, it might be possible that somebody would want to take those on their own. It just depends on where the discussions go and what.
So do we have any kind of list of what we expect and everything?
Contract that we've always used?
Yeah.
Yes. What we supply and what they're supposed to supply.
Didn't you have somebody interested for a while?
Kind of.
There's a group that's kind of exploring it, and that's why we're wanting to get something in the paper so that anybody else can come forward if they are interested, just for transparency reasons. I mean, we could just have meetings with this group, but then, I don't want to find out that somebody else was interested and they, put it out there in the paper and see if we get a response from anybody and go from there.
Job.
Yeah, it is.
Well, they're gonna do the amount of stuff that Brian does.
Yeah.
It's not just sports.
No, it's a lot of different
card
things
clubs,
that they're involved in.
father-daughter dances, all kinds of stuff like that. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that people are gonna be real disappointed if they don't have, if somebody else is gonna have to take over.
Exactly.
So the consensus is what?
We just need a consensus for Austin, basically, to put something in the paper. Start with that.
That's fine. If you want to put something in the paper, we can see what develops out of it. Yeah. I mean, we don't have to take it, we can just see what develops out of it.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
We can do that.
Standing committee, I probably, because I should have brought this up earlier, because I was gone at the last meeting, and then Kevin basically took my place as the president of the council. Council had never actually elected a president of the council, so that's something that needs probably
And
be
I
taken
nominate
care
Kevin
of.
to be president of the council.
And I second it.
Or do you want it or not?
Sure.
Okay.
Okay, we have a motion and second. Is there any other discussion, or does anybody else want to throw their hat in the ring?
What was the motion?
For the, to make Kevin president of the council. So when I'm gone, Kevin gets
Well,
to
you
take my
couldn't hear what
place.
she said, so.
Okay. Any more discussion? I need a roll call on that one, or just a voice vote, probably?
Just do it, yeah.
A roll call.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Roll call.
Pipia,
Yes.
Fry,
Yay.
Schroller,
Yes,
Hughes,
Yes.
Bikeman,
Yeah.
Price,
Yes.
Behrens,
Yes.
Rom.
Abstain.
Oh, whatever.
You can vote for yourself.
701. It passes. You are the president.
Dun, dun, dun.
Just so we remember in the future, that's supposed to be done when you seat the new council, always. And it's the council who's supposed to bring it. That's the rule. So the council neglected to do that.
So that last meeting
It's not
doesn't count?
Well, you can appoint someone at a meeting to do it, but technically, the council is supposed to bring it. It's not the mayor, it's the council that's to bring who they want to be as the president. So that's how it's supposed to work.
Okay. Next up, standing committee reports, street. They may have anything from street. Kevin? Nothing?
I did, but I forgot what it was. And I just got hit up about it today. That was the worst part of it.
Anything to do with the hole they left open down by City Park for the weekend? Right in the middle of the street?
Oh, when we had all that rain?
No, this was just
Very
last
different one.
weekend, I think.
Oh.
They had this big square hole right in the middle of the street right there
In the intersection.
in the intersection, yeah.
Did it have barricades around it?
Yes, it
Yeah.
did.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, is it our guys or is it a contractor?
It was a contractor.
Okay, that's what I thought it was.
Yep.
That explains it, because I couldn't see our guys
Well, I
doing
think-
that on a Friday.
Well, it
There's
depends
another
on if we
back
could
to
get
the west.
concrete that day either, too.
Yeah.
Sometimes we can't.
So I think by Friday, it was sand filled.
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but I think there's one back to the west and a
Yeah.
little bit south. too.
yeah, there is.
Okay. Anything else on
It
street?
was right on.
I got something.
Yes, Terry?
I know it's been addressed verbally, but it's still physically not there. There on Jayhawk Road, there we got a blocked driveway, 2 places, don't have a tube in it.
Anything about that, Austin?
Yeah, the Smiths are building a garage, and they put in a temporary access to their property. They said they'd take it out once it's all built.
They put a plug in and they're gonna tear it out.
Yep.
So you can't put a tube in that ditch anyway, can you? It's not deep enough.
I'm not sure, I don't know that.
It's not much of a ditch.
Yeah.
Ditch has gotta be a
Shallow.
certain depth before you can put tubes in them.
Well, 4-inch rain goes over Jayhawk, and you'll replace Jayhawk, so it's up to you.
Is it gonna cut across Jayhawk, or is it just gonna cut through that?
The date it was supposed to start was June 1, and we had all that rain, so I don't know how long
Say,
it'll take
I
them
haven't
to
seen
build. That was the
anything
construction date
happening.
beginning supposedly, so.
Anything else on the street? Water and wastewater treatment?
Wait a minute, and that street one, is that where you wanted to discuss that Peter?
The what?
Oh, the morass.
Moraski?
Did you want to
Dust
bring
control.
that back?
Did you want to talk
Did you
about
want to
that?
discuss
yeah,
that
there you go.
street?
I'd say we'd cover it now. I mean, we had somebody ask for some dust control. I know in the past, that the problem has been is if you do dust control for one person, then you're doing dust control for everybody. So unless council's willing to go down that road of dust control everywhere, then
I think that's one of the reasons why we voted it down last time.
yeah, it was.
One of the things we do need to do, and I noticed it Sunday when I went out to city dump, is the end of H Street where the sewer lines and everything been tied into that. That really needs to be worked over with some cold mix or hot mix or something.
And that would probably help that a little bit,
Yeah,
too.
because that is just terrible coming off the end of 8th Street onto that gravel. I mean, there's nice big drops in that, so.
Who blades that road?
Well, that's
We do, the city does. We
Yeah.
do. From there.
Okay, we do that one,
From
don't
there
we?
and Jayhawk, those two.
Okay,
we
so
do.
who buys the material for that road?
We do.
We do.
The only suggestion I have for you is maybe throw some sand on it. Because that's what we do out in the counties, we throw sand in areas to kind of calm down the dust.
Because it's just chalky.
Yeah, it's not dust control, it's just sand is what it is. I mean, but you may have to blade it a little bit more too.
Well, it was looking pretty good before that big giant
big
rain.
rain, yeah.
But
I think if we put a
some
little more,
rock on it.
put some asphalt in it and kind of level it up a little bit, and then, like Parker said, put some sand on after that. I think we'll probably take care of a problem up there.
It's really dusty. There's just a lot more traffic on that road, I think, than there used to be with inline out there and
Yeah.
everything else. Those heavy trailers really pulverize the road.
Well, and are we using limestone rock on it, or what are we using?
Anything that can get, we have a very difficult time getting rock.
Oh, I understand.
I thought it was better, didn't we get better rock this last time to throw on it? I thought, what
We've
did we
been
get that
using a
from?
gray rock out of,
Barnston?
Yeah.
Yes.
I thought
and
that's where they
then,
might
but they
got it.
gave us a notice that they're 3 weeks away from getting that because they got to dig through the yellow stuff.
Yeah, the reason I'm asking, the yellow stuff has a tendency to break down very
Yes.
quickly.
Yep.
And it's like a dust bomb.
We've been liking that gray stuff.
Yeah.
We don't have any millings or anything we can put out there?
No, I wouldn't put millings down out there.
Well, you put some on the dump road last year, I think, didn't you?
The request
Yeah,
to test it, and it's not working out too
it's
good.
not working?
No.
No, that dump road's breaking up, to be honest.
I mean, we don't do dust control on 1104 North 8th
Well,
Street, but.
Actually, we don't need.
It's
long as we
for
don't
other, but it's
Okay.
for other possibilities that what we can put on it.
Well, I don't know, do we need a vote on that or just kind of consensus and let Austin?
As long as we're not doing it, we'll see what we can come up
We
with.
can explore other options.
And you can come back to us in the weekly report or whatever with.
If we can
next
find
meeting.
something.
Okay. Anything else on street then? Parks and Rec.
Nope,
Diane.
wastewater.
Wastewater? What do you got on wastewater?
Water and wastewater.
Okay.
I noticed after the last big rainstorm, we had the lights were on at the main pump station down there for a while. And I know we really need to look at our I&I. I know Kent said the inflow was terrible.
Yes. And he talked about it where the pump was saying where it was coming from, down around Keystone Edition.
Right.
So he theorized that maybe a farmer knocked off a lid.
Right.
So we're working on.
We're gonna smoke it, we're gonna find somebody to smoke it.
That's about, yeah. I mean, that's, if we can't find it otherwise.
You know, smoke's pretty cheap to buy in those big canisters. I mean, it doesn't buy 2 or 3 of them, throw them in there. I mean, we got enough guys in the water department. For that little area there, we can go out and station people out there and watch the smoke come through them. I mean, I think we have all the necessary equipment down there at the water shop to do that job.
Okay.
Because I mean, the wells run high for 3 or 4 days, Kent told me. So we need to,
Surprised.
it's a lot of water running through that station that doesn't need to be.
Right.
Makes pumps and everything else work harder, so.
Which, the more lining we get done, it should help with some of that, although a lot of it's probably getting through private sewers.
It's a Keystone.
Most of it was at Keystone, because it
Oh, really?
it hit the far station to the south, which then pumps it to the one by Hometown, which then brings it all the way this way.
To get that here.
So
Well, that
those
should
two
all
out
be-
there were
yeah, and
running.
that should all be newer,
Those
so
two
there
were
shouldn't
running
be
extremely high. Yeah, that should all be plastic pipes, so.
Yeah.
Last time it was up in that pasture, remember?
Yeah, I know. That's why I said, I don't think it can be too hard to find. That's what I mean, if we take a couple cans of smoke and a fan out there, we ought to be able to blow the smoke through that line and find it real easy.
Okay.
Okay.
So,
We'll definitely look to doing that.
Anything else on water, wastewater? Okay. All right, Parks and Rec.
Yeah, I want to talk about this.
Yes.
Oh, I do.
Who made this up?
I typed it, it was
Yeah.
Austin's rules, and we just put it all together, what we thought were happening at the moment because that was what we were told, you know.
We were trying to go off of the
in the middle of the COVID from before. That's what we were told.
Okay.
Where to go from.
This was before the county opened everything up?
Well, it's off the guidelines of the Parks,
and Parks and
CDC and Parks and Recs Association.
Really, the only issue I have with this is what Vicky brought up about the morning swim. I know there's probably no morning swim because you thought about the lifeguards, right? Is that
No,
right?
cleaning.
Cleaning.
You have to clean when they're done. So if you have the bathhouses open, you have to totally clean the bathhouses. Because the swim team agreed to not have the bathhouses open, they would not use them. And they're coming in the other gate, so they're not touching any of the admissions tables, they're not touching anything, and they're not bringing their stuff in. They're leaving their stuff outside the fence, coming in the gate by the slide, so that they touch nothing, so that way we're not having to come back and clean concrete or anything else, and they will take, you know, they have a checklist of who comes with names and numbers, so that takes care of that, and they have their own insurance.
Okay, now the morning swims that gotta have a lifeguard present, right?
Well, I think
We have in the
typically we've
past.
had somebody there.
I mean, I feel a lot better, you know. Does these morning swim people, do they know CPR? Do they know?
Vicky said they do, but
According to Vicky, they do.
Do they know how to do the defibrillator?
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
If they were gonna be there on their own, I'd imagine they'd have to sign some kind of a waiver or something.
definitely.
We would,
I would feel much better if there's a lifeguard there.
we would have to have somebody there anyways. It's one to clean, two to keep track, and all that stuff. So, I mean, there'd have to be somebody there anyways.
Okay, and we brought him here, so let's ask, how much, Doc, how much cleaning and everything do we need to do for this swimming pool? I know what CDC is recommending and KDHE, but are people getting COVID in the bathrooms and stuff?
Not that, not in many cases, no, I don't think so.
Okay, so like if we clean the bathrooms, do we need to clean them or do we need to clean them and disinfect them? Every time?
I would say just clean. You know, full disinfection you do at the end of the day, or you never do, or...
Oh, yeah, they do. And they wipe down the surfaces that they touch, all this, the doors and the handles and that.
I'm just trying to figure out how strenuous our days are going to be.
Right.
Recommendations every 4 hours?
Is it 4?
Well, we have a rotation that the girls do, or the guards do every hour, because they have one cleaning. Now, some of it's picking up trash and doing those things, but they will run through and make sure that they've wiped off the surfaces of like the doors in the restrooms and that kind of stuff.
Okay.
But taking a shower before you get in the pool is still a rule.
Yes. And the swim team's going to do that before they come. Which these women could do it as well.
Well, are we gonna have we talked about, since we're not gonna have a lifeguard for that morning swim for that group, are we gonna have them sign waivers now?
Well, if there's gonna be a lifeguard there anyway, I don't see no problem to having
So we
morning
have
swim.
decided for that group to have a lifeguard there?
Well, if there's gonna be a lifeguard there anyway, I don't see a problem of having morning swim.
From 6 to 9?
6 to 8.
6 to 8. 6 to 8.
Here's before we get too deep into this. The main goal, and tell me if you disagree with this, is to have 1 to 8 for the kids of this community.
Yeah.
Is that the main goal?
Yeah, that's the goal on
a normal year, with morning swim team, 1 to 8. We have people going from 5:30 in the morning to 9 at night, wearing themselves down because even though we have a whole list of lifeguards, we have people who want to take off. We already have somebody requesting every Saturday off the rest of this summer. It looks like we have all these employees to work here. We don't. We
Vacations come.
strain to keep, and so,
Right, and I understand
we're concentrating on the main goal of 1 to 8. To get an employee or two in here is taxing on our employee system. Because more than likely, what happens is one person or two people or three people of our group are the only ones who want to come in and do the morning. So they're stuck, and then all of a sudden, we're shorthanded 1 to 8, they're stuck.
Austin, how many lifeguards do we have?
I
think I have about 19, but you have to remember if they're 15 years old, they can't come till 7.
Right, but what I'm getting at is that 19 with the 2 managers.
Yep.
Okay. How many of them are below 15? Do you know?
Count that, let's see, I would say I know 2, 3, 4. That's concessions. 4. At 4 or 5 for sure.
Okay, let's say 5. So we're down to 15 guards.
Right.
14. And basically, if you start one at 5:30 in the morning, then they're going home at roughly 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
If they start at 5:30, then they, what are they going to do after they get done cleaning at 9:30? Then do you send them home and then tell them to come back at 1:30? Or come back at 1? I mean, that ruins their day.
Yeah. Well, it ruins their day, but it makes it harder for some to account of their hours.
Well, that's true too.
Because maybe they left at 9:45 and they didn't, or 9:30
I mean, it is
this
very
day.
difficult for them
Right.
to do that.
So the idea this year, and it's not just the morning swim that's sacrificing, that we're requesting of this. We're getting rid of a highly popular swim classes, swim lessons. That is the most popular part of our pool, because everybody wants the private swim lessons. Everybody wants to be in the group swim lessons. The parents of this community sign their kids up for that. And we can't do that. That taxes our lifeguards.
We're also not doing pool parties
No
either.
pool parties. All this.
Hold on, just 1 second.
Okay.
Would you do swim lessons with the way the COVID is this year, or would you have a concern about that, of somebody catching some?
They're so
close. That's the reason I asked, Cindy, is because the concern is so close and the jumping. I'm just throwing that out there.
And it's more of a time. It's more of a time thing. If this was a normal year and for some reason we had to, it just took out all the time we had.
Oh, I agree.
And like I said, in a normal year, we have kids dropping out at the end of our pool season because they've been hit so hard with all this swim lessons, the early mornings, the late nights. So if our overall goal is to serve the children of our community, that's what this all sets it up for. To make sure we have lifeguards that can concentrate because they weren't up since 5 o'clock in the morning and didn't stay up till 9, 10, 11 the night before. That's the whole idea. And this is an odd year. Everybody can agree on that.
Yeah, no, I'm with you, Austin. I'm not fighting you.
But
I'm
it's
just.
their job. It's their job. That's what they're hired to do.
Okay, we got one person that we hired. There's 31 days in July. 21 of them he wants off.
Then why did we hire him?
I have no idea, because we never know how many days they want off until it's over.
And we still,
we're already to that.
and the worst part is, we still don't know what college is gonna do this fall. If a lot of these schools start early.
St. Mary's University in Lawrence is starting August 1 for athletes, August 10th for students. Nebraska University is starting August 17th for students. I don't know when their athletes go.
So if we start running a bunch of kids leaving for school, that's gonna
Cut it off.
It's gonna cut it off quicker yet.
I'm afraid we're not gonna see much of August with people being able to work.
My other concern is right along there with Austin's and my big concern is if one person actually gets this, you can shut the pool down in a matter of a short time. And if you're already running them ragged to begin with, we're not making the 1 to 8. you know, if we're trying to do this 5:30 to 8 o'clock at night, and then we start losing bodies because somebody got COVID or sick or something like that, then we're gonna cut something later on and have really, really angry people that had something and then they walked away.
And there is the thing, again, an example from the normal year. There's been years because the pool's been busy with morning swim and swim team and all this other stuff, our guards can't even get in and clean the pool because you can't clean while people are in the pool. So this would be one of the years where we could actually make sure the pool is clean.
Oh, we have constant. Okay, because Doctor's sitting there. What are our main concern areas of the pool? For this type, I mean, is it like the slides? I mean, are the slides a concern? Is it just the bathrooms?
No, I think it's groups, you know, people staying together, you know, less than 6 feet apart for more than 10 minutes. And so, you know, there's no restrictions, you know, by the county, but that is what a lot of counties are still going with. You know, some counties are still in 1.5.
Sedgwick is just gonna go to 2 next week. Sedgwick is just going to 2
Phase
next week.
2.
Yeah.
So, you know, there's a lot of variation now in what counties are doing. But I think the main concern in public health is groups. That's where we have seen most of the outbreaks. You know, Lake Perry was a group at the lake. You know, in Shawnee County, there's been several outbreaks in funerals. You know, a lot of people come together, especially from out of town. I mean, you look where you get groups of people standing together for a period of time, that's where it's usually transmitted. Now, you know, if you have kids running around and playing, I think the risk is very, very low. So, you know, I suppose, and it's outside, and it's not in a closed area. Now, if you get a bathhouse full of kids, that would be, you know, if they're going to stay in,
admissions
play in the shower for a while.
In the bathroom.
But yeah, I still think that's very low risk. It appears maybe the virus is going to be low in the summer right now, you know, because there are decreasing cases everywhere. So in other parts of the world, they're increasing. So, you know, I don't know if it's the heat, because there are places in the Middle East that are going crazy right now, and it's hot there.
Yeah. Okay, so the heat's not really a
Probably
factor.
not going to be a factor, no, because there's big outbreaks in India, and where it's hot, and Middle East, and right now, so.
So basically want to concentrate, like Cindy said, the doors, the hand railing to the slipper slide, stuff like that, where people are constantly
Sure. And I
grabbing
think, you know,
at
the
items.
surface, when the sun's out and it's, you know, 90 degrees, the virus is not going to live very long on a surface. I think some of our early estimates were just estimates. They were artificially done studies where they took a certain amount of virus and sprayed it on a surface and waited time and took cultures. It wasn't real-time data that was, you know, where people were around and nobody had the COVID or only one had the COVID and, you know, what surfaces got contaminated. I think it's a very low risk. I think if you just use your general cleaning process.
So the bathrooms and the admissions and the concessions areas would be the bigger places we have to clean.
If you don't get a little closer to that mic, if you guys are going to keep talking.
Okay. I was trying to talk a little louder. Yeah, I think the risk is low. Like I say, the surfaces, it's just routine cleaning, and the biggest concern is just groups together, particularly in an indoor area. But on the outside, you know, ideally, everybody will try to stay 6 foot apart if they can, but, you know, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, I don't either.
It's not going to happen.
No, it doesn't.
Well, I still see no reason why we can't have lap swims in the morning from 6 to 8, because The ladies I've
7
talked
to
to, the ladies I've talked to have said that they will not use the bathrooms. We can get along without that. In previous years, you've told us that we could put up a sign saying that there's no lifeguard on duty, and you didn't seem to have a problem with it then. And
Vicky
so-
just asked for a key to the bathroom so they could use the bathroom.
Well,
If somebody
Vicky,
needed to go to the bathroom.
nobody else has said that they needed to have a key to the bathroom. Vicky maybe said that. That would be nice, but we don't have to have a key to the bathroom, so we would be willing to use them without the bathroom. We can go in through the gate. Somebody can open the gate at 8 o'clock. I suppose the police probably have a key to the gate. I don't know. So, I mean, we're willing to work whatever so we can go swimming from 6 to 8.
So are you guys willing to do the waiver?
Yes?
We're not going to leave any of our facilities unattended. I don't think that's an acceptable risk.
I don't feel comfortable with it at all.
Yeah. That is not
Well,
an
then have
acceptable
a
risk.
lifeguard there from 6 to 8 isn't a problem.
That's what we're talking about, Diane. It's
Well, you're saying that
taxing
you
us.
won't even put a lifeguard there.
No, it's
Well,
taxing
that's
us. We're
basically
having
what
to
you
discuss
said.
it. No, we're having discussion and we're explaining how it's taxing and everybody's throwing their ideas out. My problem is if your swim partner goes down, you can't pull them out of the pool.
Well, I think there's enough people down there that know how to swim, and you don't go in the water after somebody, you throw something into them.
I'm trained to go in after them and retrieve them.
I've taken life-saving, Vicky's taken life-saving. We know
She's
that you
not
don't go in the
certified.
water for somebody.
Well, what I'm saying is that's what the lifeguard's there for, is to remove that person from the water and get them his help as quick as possible.
Okay.
And that includes using an AED on them if they need it. Do you know how to operate the AED?
There's never been one down there until now, I don't think.
There's always been one there since the day we opened the pool.
But anyway,
Do you know how to operate the AED?
no, but...
Okay, there's a problem there
Okay.
too.
But even then, they've told us in previous years that as long as there was a sign there saying that there's no lifeguard on duty, we could use the pool.
I'm not comfortable with that.
Austin's told us that before.
Well,
We've done that, but we've always had somebody there.
Well, I'm not saying that there hasn't always been somebody there, but you have told us that we could do that.
But that's the issue. Even if it's not a lifeguard there, it's still an employee of the pool being asked to come at 5:30 and with the potential of them being there all day.
And I think all the employees that's working at the pool knows CPR and knows how to do the
We
AED.
train them, yes.
Okay.
But we only
Doesn't
need
have to be
somebody...
the lifeguard, but
We only need somebody there from 6 to 8, and then they can leave again. That's the only time it's open.
no, I'd rather have somebody stay there.
No,
Well,
he's saying
the
from 6 to 8,
lapsed
then they
one's
go home
only
and have to come
there,
back
6 to 8
later.
is what I'm saying.
Then she wants them to go home.
Then they can go home if they want to.
Then
If
they
it's
come back
somebody
and
here in
get their
town, they
other
don't
6
have to
hours.
be there all day.
Okay, so who watches the swim team then if they want to come?
They have 3 lifeguards on the
They don't have to be there, I don't think. I think
No, they have 3
They
lifeguards
have their own people.
Yeah, lifeguards.
and their own insurance. And they have their own
Yeah, they have
insurance.
their own insurance too.
that changes everything a little bit.
Yeah,
right?
they have their own liability insurance.
I mean, we're only asking from somebody from 6 to 8.
Well, I mean, does somebody want to make a motion
I wanna-
to have the
How about 7 to 9, then I can have a 15-year-old.
Hold on. The pool manual says only if staffing is available. That's,
I think that's how it's worded.
Well, I think you could
So,
cooperate a little bit. A lot of these ladies, I mean, they're going to pay for themselves because most of these people that go are not going to buy season passes if they don't get to go.
I think you're missing the point.
No, I'm not missing the
I think
point. You're
you are.
missing the point.
Yes, Terry.
I read the manual. Got a copy of it from Cindy. Also says, if I'm gonna get a bunch of phone calls and be accused of something, I like to be able to vote on it. It says lap swim will be approved annually by the city council.
Based on staffing
based on
availability.
staffing availability. Staffing availability.
So I'd like to vote on that. I never got a chance to vote on it. Also, 12.102 says the governing body is authorized to prepare and adopt suitable rules and regulations governing the use of all public grounds of the city as defined herein and the facilities thereon, which shall be open and available to the general public.
Nobody says you can't
So-
do that.
then I want to be able to vote that there's no lap swim, so everybody that accused me of stopping it will know who voted it down.
Does somebody want to make a motion to allow morning swim?
I want to make that motion.
Okay. From what times?
What times?
6 to 8,
6
to 8.
Monday through Friday.
What's
You're
that?
not willing to go, say, 7 to 9?
Well,
That would help me with 15-year-olds is all, and I have several, but
well, I suppose we can, but a lot of them that go work, and so therefore they like to go before they go to work. So we're going to cut out a lot of the people that,
So do you want the motion to be 6 to 8 or 7
well,
to
we
9?
prefer 6 to 8,
Okay, so the motion's going to be
6 to 8, Monday to Friday.
Monday through Friday.
Okay.
I mean, because a lot of these towns, Frankfurt has it, they've got everything open. They've got all their stuff open.
A lot of them are right before it opens. When I called several towns today around us, most of them, Frankfurt's the only one that isn't, like Blue Rapids, Waterville, they're either open from 12 to 1 right before the pool opens, or 8 to 9 when the pool closes, so there's not additional staff coming in late or early.
I understand that.
So
but I'm saying-
that's what helps them, and they don't have swim team.
Well, but we were willing to take the 1 to 11, 1 or 11 to 1, but then now swim team took
The swim
that
team's
one.
always there. Yeah.
Because there was, very well
nobody
did
could be
have.
there right before the pool, because the pool has to get cleaned before they...
Right, I mean, if you
Have
put
to
them
get
all
ready for the
together and
pool
it all came right in, you could, but swim team's there too.
till
Swim
like
team's in
12,
here saying they
12:30.
can be there till 12:30, so we can't.
But somebody made the decision, not the council made the decision to let swim team have the,
It's in your manual,
Yeah, it's in there.
that's what time they come.
I know, but but who made that decision?
You approved the policy in 2016.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, but
Well, whoever was on council then.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know who was on
Yeah.
council. I can look.
Kevin.
He's been here forever.
Swim team didn't come to the city council though.
In order to get this pool manual, yeah.
It's in the pool manual that the council approved.
Approved what?
The pool manual.
That the swim team?
Yeah,
It's in the pool manual.
Well, I don't
Their
know.
hours are set.
I thought they had to come to the city council just like we did. They came to the city council here the other day about something.
Wanting to add an extra time. They
Yes.
wanted to come twice,
Okay,
and they're not coming twice.
okay, all right, whatever.
So we have a motion
Yes.
and a second.
Second.
Is there any more discussion?
And this
Yes,
is
I think the motion ought to include a lifeguard on duty.
On duty.
To be staffed.
Yeah, to be staffed.
Staffed upon availability.
Yes.
Yep.
Can you read it? Somewhat.
There will be morning swim from 6 to 8 a.m. Monday through Friday with pool staff.
If available.
Well, if it isn't, so is it not going to be open, or?
That's what, isn't that right?
6 to 8.
Isn't that what the manual says?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what the
if it's
manual says,
available.
yeah.
That's what, then why are we
So if we
doing
don't have
this
anybody
already?
there, there won't be any morning swim, is that?
Because there was no time in here. There's no time in this manual.
Why are we doing that if it's already in there?
It isn't.
Oh, it isn't? Okay.
It's just only if we ever have availability. So that's why I didn't know if the availability should be in there or not, because
If there's staff available.
So what are we doing? Are we trying to vote if we're gonna have morning swim?
Yes.
Yes.
There's a
We're
motion.
voting if we have a lifeguard with them or if it's available.
It's in the motion, a lifeguard, lifeguard
if
is
you want
supposed to be
lifeguard
there.
here, then it just needs to say be
It feels like
lifeguard.
we should vote for it to happen and they'll staff it or vote, I mean, otherwise we're not really voting
You're not-
for anything.
you're right.
We're just reinforcing
Yes.
the existing,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, that's the reason I was asking the question.
So you want it to say that it, morning swim, 6 to 8, Monday to Friday, with staff, with staff.
That's the vote, right? I mean,
With-
But let me ask you this, then what happens if we are running low on lifeguards towards the end of the year and we're having to shut slides down, then are we still gonna have morning swim, or are we gonna pull that lifeguard off?
You could put that in the motion, it's subject to review.
Oh,
Later in
come
the
on,
season?
let's not.
Well, that's what, hey.
But that's what you have to do, because we're here to get it from 1 to 8.
Why don't we just say, let's just close the pool this year and be done with it all?
Just make
That's
it
what all the
wide
big
open
cities
free.
do because they don't get pushed out.
That's the thing. It's a weird year,
Well, I
and
know,
they
but-
have
It
to
is.
realize they're gonna have to make concessions to enjoy the pool as much as they
Well, what are we
can.
voting on here?
We're voting on a motion.
The motion is made that we're gonna have lap swim from 6 to 8.
6 to 8,
Monday
With
to
lifeguard
Friday.
on duty.
with a
Monday through
lifeguard on
Friday.
duty. Monday
that
through
right?
Friday.
Yep.
What if,
Okay.
okay, here's,
With staff and
yeah,
ability.
so, just to be clear, what if we don't have lifeguards available?
Then they're
Well,
not
then
there.
there's
Well,
no
we have to
morning
have a
swim.
we said with lifeguard on duty.
I know, but what if
What if it's
none
not
of the
available?
lifeguards are
The
available?
the manager can make the call to close the pool for any reason if they don't have staffing, correct?
That
Or
is
correct.
isn't that
Yeah.
already the deal? If they can't open, they can't open,
Yeah.
so there you go.
Right.
That's the manager's
So
job.
if
These
Yeah.
people show up at 6 o'clock and there's nobody there.
Come
done.
on. You guys are gonna hang your manager that quick?
That's
fair.
exactly what's gonna
That
happen.
ain't fair at all.
It's tough to be on top.
You're gonna hang your manager? That's cheeky.
Hey, you're gonna hang a 20-some
Yeah.
year old
You
out there
guys
to
wanna
dry.
guarantee you won't have a manager next year?
Okay.
Do this, because that's what you're gonna do. You'll make this manager job impossible to fill. We're already close to there now.
Okay.
Well, she shouldn't tell lifeguards that they're on last resort either.
Well,
Is there any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Let's
Do we want to do a roll
Let's
call?
do roll
That might
call.
be easier.
Okay,
Roll call.
this is for,
Bobby.
this is for the morning swim with a lifeguard there.
It's saying that
6
we're gonna
to
do
8.
morning swim with a lifeguard, and that's assuming that we're gonna have
With or without
staffing for it, and if
bathrooms or
not,
not?
it's basically up to the manager. If they don't have staffing, then they're gonna make the call.
Somebody with
As
staff
Parker
always
has
got
pointed
there.
out.
They have to be there whether we have the bathrooms open or not,
If
correct?
nobody's gonna be there, then there's no morning swim.
Okay,
oh, wow.
all right.
Okay.
Roll call.
I mean, this is easy.
Pipia,
No,
Fry,
Yes.
Schroller,
Yes.
Yeah.
Hughes, Bikeman,
Yes.
Price,
No.
Barons,
No.
Throm.
Is
No.
that tie?
Yep.
Vision of the house.
I have to break it?
Yep.
Yep.
No.
Okay, so no morning swim.
Thank you, guys.
At least the public knows who voted it out.
And I'll defend everything I need to on it.
yep.
Okay. Water to cemetery.
Yeah, cemetery and airport.
Oh, I'm not done with this yet.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We just got past the first sentence.
I know.
No, you're fine.
Last year, the big slide, if there wasn't a lifeguard watching that big slide, they're just gonna shut it down. But yet they could have assistant manager and manager down in front doing nothing. I mean, if nobody's up there watching the slide, they could be up there watching the slide.
Right, and no, and I think we're gonna have the better
I mean,
time this year.
that slide stays open no matter what.
Right, and no, we can make that,
We
can, yeah, we've talked about that.
Okay.
Had that discussion.
And I'm gonna keep going with him here. We got no lounge chairs or benches, but are we gonna allow them to bring in a pop-up chair or something like
I think
that?
so, aren't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
They're on.
well, there's nothing that says they can. There's
Oh,
nothing that
okay.
says they can't.
I'm sorry.
We can amend that.
Yeah, because
Okay.
this was just for your information.
I know, but you know what I'm saying.
They can bring in their own chairs,
I
correct?
just think of people
Then they
with
have to pay.
glasses and stuff like that. If we don't want somebody stepping on them and getting
Right.
broke and all that stuff.
And I'm gonna jump on the bandwagon too, where it says all patron names and phone numbers. We already talked about it, but I'd say we should get also city of residence.
You want city? Okay, I can add
If
that.
we could, I think it's a good idea.
Because an admissions person is the person that's gonna write it down.
And we don't have to
They're
have
gonna
an
write every
address,
single
but
one.
if they're from Manhattan or, you know.
Right. They just need to, they'll have to understand they have to slow down, because when they come in, we're gonna go one at a time, because the admissions person is writing their names, so we know who's there.
Yes.
So are they, like, in the admission, are they gonna put it so, like they do at Walmart, you're 6 feet apart here?
If they're gonna put tape down, we can put
Yeah,
tape
One
down.
is too, I was gonna say, they're gonna get in the pool all together, so I don't know what we're gaining there. What- if that
But
would
if
make
they're
much
standing in
sense.
line for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Who's gonna make sure they all take a shower?
We're gonna
Well, the
inform.
lifeguards do that, that's what they're supposed to do, so.
Yeah, and the managers have already said that they're gonna concentrate on trying to get people to take showers.
Cleaning and
I
that
think
stuff.
if they really tell them, look, you have to, you know,
Right,
maybe.
and we have made more
help
signs
reinforce.
that, to go by the door when they walk in and on the doors to the bathrooms themselves, so hopefully, I mean, you can only lead a horse to water. You can't make them drink, but.
They'll come out wet and.
Yeah, if you're not wet, probably you didn't shower, that's a good point.
That's gonna require more staff just to watch these things.
Yeah.
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 Dr. Ryan, did you kind of look this over?
No, I didn't have.
He's never seen it.
There it is.
Hand it to him.
It's not sanitized up. I mean, a lot of it is things that we've had the same kind of discussions about the ball fields and the concession stands and the bathrooms out at Lakeview. A lot of the same things, basically, in that we discussed for out there. Anybody else have any discussion while he's reading that? Or any
What,
questions?
Parks and Recs or for the discussion on the pool?
Well, that's about the,
Any problem?
this is about the pool.
No.
You think those are all good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'm pretty happy now
Okay.
on the cleaning and sanitation side of it.
Okay, so now we got more folks in that. Okay.
We're done with the pool.
Anything additional on Parks and Rec?
Well, yeah, now I want to talk about Lakeview.
All right.
Have we ever looked at going somewhere else?
Well, that's been, I mean, I think we batted that around at one time, but then the problem is by the time you buy the land and you do all the work, I mean, you're, yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, then you're still,
And the reason I throw that out there is I've worked at them ballparks enough.
yeah.
You gotta throw a lot of
It's a
dirt on
challenge, it's a challenging spot. I
You gotta
mean,
throw a lot
that's
of dirt
solid
on a rock
engineers
shelf
said
to make
that.
it work.
Yes.
And then you take a look at the concession stand slash bathrooms and they're not anywhere close to up to date. And it's gonna take a lot to get them up to date, let alone trying to build a building on, again, a rock shelf. That takes a lot more
What's he
work.
talking about?
Lakeview.
I don't know.
If we would want to, instead of, oh, do you have something to add?
One thing really quickly.
Yes.
This grant that you guys are applying for, you can actually buy land with it as well.
Oh, well, that's nice to know.
Yeah.
Couldn't hear her.
You
can
can,
buy-
the grant, you can buy land with the grant money. The grant that we had talked about earlier.
Not the baseball field.
Yeah, it's just a thought to throw out there that there could be a couple different places to look at. Because we may not have to do all the stuff you're doing at Lakeview to make it drain correctly.
My concern too would be how close are you gonna be to town? Because we're kind of built out around the edges and
Gonna be
where
in
it's at
town.
now is still walkable for kids or rideable
Well-
on their bikes and things. And if it gets out on the periphery, my kids are gonna be begging for rides and I wanna make them ride their bikes.
I will not lie to you, that would not be able to be done.
Yeah.
I will say that.
So there's gonna be nothing in the horse arena now, or?
I don't know, we haven't really talked to them.
No.
And occasionally,
Nor
when
we
you
have-
drive by there, they will be doing, I haven't seen anything this year, but last year, they used it once or twice, I think.
There was a person who called us this year that wanted to use it, I don't
Oh, it
know if
was.
they have or not.
And we don't know what
If we
the,
don't put a field up there or something, I wouldn't mind seeing that area as a parking lot.
Well,
We
I'm
don't-
trying to think, what was it on the plan?
on this plan, we didn't do anything with it.
We didn't?
No.
We discussed a few different
We
ideas
did.
of what to do with it, from T-ball fields to parking, I think. And
Then a lot of them thought that was too far to walk.
All-purpose field.
All-purpose field, yeah.
To park.
But I think it'd be a good spot for a parking lot too, just throwing that out there.
I just thought a chance of going somewhere else and incorporating soccer fields or flag football fields into it at the
Tennis
same
courts.
time.
cost.
What do you want?
Said tennis courts.
They're down there.
That's more than $1 million on their own.
They're down there. I'm looking at grass.
Grass tennis courts.
Well,
That's a thing.
what, you guys get to talk and I don't?
Oh, I want to go home.
Well, then go home.
Everybody gets their turn.
You guys got to talk, I get
You got
to
to talk earlier. Everybody gets their turn for as long as it takes.
You know, the baseball fields mean a little bit more to me than the swimming pool. And,
You go, boy.
well, I think it's a little offensive what you sit over there and say and you degrade people, Terry. I don't do it to you.
Okay.
So, don't do it to me.
Let's get back to order. We were talking about the ball fields. We were talking about the ball fields, and we were talking about if council had ever discussed buying other property.
Moving.
Yeah, a new venue. I think it was something that was kind of discussed last year with that committee. I think just kind of banded around. I don't think it was anything serious.
I don't think we ever seriously
I don't think we
considered,
seriously looked for land. I think it was just kind of like somebody said, hey, what about this? And that's about as far as it went.
Just asking.
I mean, if council would want to look into that, but it's the same thing, and you're gonna find land, and then they're probably gonna want an arm and leg for it half the time, as we found we were looking for land
This
for a
was
fire
free.
station.
And then it was done for.
And that's, I'm sure why it got put there, because it was.
Designed and done
There was
for
nothing else there. It was
$5
basically, I wasn't here when that was just, but I think it was just kind of a hillside. I mean, there wasn't anything much there,
Yeah.
was there, before?
A rock.
Yeah, so it was kind of wasted
Big
space,
valley
and it
that's
wasn't
got
good
a
for
lot of
anything.
trash in it now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And somebody, and then they gave it to the city, is that right?
Probably.
Yeah, that's what I thought. That's what I could remember.
So, I mean, it's something, it's up to council. I mean, it's something council would like to pursue or look into or
It'd be
discuss.
nice to move it, but where, you know?
Well, you're still getting back to where you're gonna get the money from,
Yeah,
you know, to do it.
yeah.
And I'm sure you'd be looking at a few $1 million probably with that by the time you bought some land and then you leveled it off and then you put up fences and you build a
If this is gonna
concession
cost you
area.
5, that's gonna cost you more.
Well,
If this is gonna cost 5 million.
if you were in a site where you were on dirt instead of having to do a lot of digging
Right.
in limestone, that's gonna save you a lot of cost.
you
But
didn't
you're
have-
still looking at building buildings and then figuring out your sewage and whether you gotta pump it and getting
Right.
water out there and parking and
I
all
just
the
think
other
it's-
things.
My opinion is I think it's fair to look into, because I think other things it opens up is if you do it right, it opens you up for some tournaments. What helps your restaurants and your hotels and stuff like that. Even if you do a one-day tournament.
Well, I mean, that's something if council wants to, you know, have a sport and rec meeting or something to look at possible sites or discuss it, then it's up to council.
I have nothing else.
Somebody want to make a motion to have committee look into that or anything? No?
We can talk about the budget, you know.
We can.
Yeah.
Yeah, what we
We can
do
discuss
then.
it there.
Well, I'm not saying this year, but just keep it on the radar.
Okay. All right. Cemetery and airport. Nothing. Police and fire. Admin and finance. Appointments. And I wasn't here for that last week, so.
Jason?
Move to approve the
Anything
appointments
for
and
me?
waste determination.
Yep. Does anybody have any questions for John, or can he peel?
No.
No.
Okay.
No.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ryan.
Anytime.
Thank you.
Is this the one we kind of tabled last time?
Yep.
Yeah, and I mean, that's up
Had
to
a
you guys
discussion
if
on
you want to have an executive session about it, or you just want to vote on the appointments, or...
We were told that you were going to meet about it. What happened to the meeting?
He wasn't gonna meet about it. Austin was gonna talk to him.
Yeah.
Grievance deal.
Right, no, I think it's taken care of.
Okay.
Yeah. And if we ever have any issues in the future, we can address it then. But I think it's taken care of at this point.
That's with the fire chief, right?
No, it's with the deputy chief and the
Well,
assistant chief.
Yeah, but yes.
I already put the motion on the table.
You did?
You did. Second.
Seconded. Any further discussion? We need roll call on this one, or you just want voice vote?
Whatever you prefer.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Abstain.
Abstain.
7:01.
Okay. City attorney's not here. Roundtable.
Tried. It's busy.
Bobby?
Just throwing it out there, when we have people here, they are always our guests. You know, when we have, you know, our gentleman or anybody that comes up from the podium. And yeah, they can get on our nerves. Yeah. But I think that as a council, and you guys are going to do what you want, as a council, we need to present ourselves as better. How we talk to people, how we engage people. And it's hard. It's hard, trust me. But that's all I got to say.
Todd?
I got a message from a constituent about their concerns about a tractor trailer parked at 8th and Jenkins. I don't know if anybody else was contacted. We have some crews.
On city property?
Yeah.
Is what you're talking about?
Yeah, it's got a reefer and it's idling up there.
It's,
all hours.
yeah, it's the, they have the cured in place piping stored in those.
Yep. They said it's kind of annoying to hear it cycling all the time with
I think
they
they-
have concerns about the flammability placard that has.
No, it's not I mean, it's got glue in it, but that's just because it's not something that's gonna blow up or anything like that, if that's what they're concerned
And they
about.
also were concerned that that cemetery was a bad place to park it. That, for those the uninitiated, that was a long time ago, apparently, a cemetery.
Was there?
Yeah, but
Which we moved to our other center.
Well,
Yeah.
and then there's scuttlebutt, and I've heard this around town, and I'm not, you know, I wasn't here 150 years ago. But that it may be, that's why the city would never let go of that property or sell it, because they didn't maybe get it cleaned out appropriately, and that all part of the big picture. Have they been to, has anybody been to
Todd
City Hall?
actually, the police chief said he researched it at the historical courthouse, and it's no such thing. That was not
Nobody
okay.
left.
So we don't have any concerns about the truck, though?
Well, I mean, it looked like to me like they moved those trucks clear to the south
pretty
end,
close
kind of
to the
it's
street.
way, and they put the refrigeration unit on the far
west
side,
side.
so it's as far away from them as it pretty much can be.
Only residential.
Well,
That's
so
commercial,
both. I mean, that's grandfathered
Do
in,
we
I
know
would assume, so.
how long it's gonna be there?
They're working on lining our pipes now, so it's not going to take them very long to run through it.
We think in a couple weeks?
Probably.
Oh, because they
A
moved.
few
Because
weeks.
that's why
It's
something
there
I can
every
tell
year. I
this
mean, it's
person.
been there every year that they've been
Right.
moved and cured in place, so those have been parked there for the last
Other than
3,
this year,
4
we're
years.
doing about triple of what we've done in the past.
Well, the
So
last 2 years, we've upped it to
Yeah.
this level, yeah.
So we've done that.
They, in fact, during the day, I see them pulling that trailer
Oh, yeah,
around
they're-
with them.
Yeah.
So it's not always sitting up there.
it was down here because they did, I think, 6 sections today down here.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask, is it
Senior?
parked there because it's easier for them to use it from there?
It's just
Otherwise,
that's where
I
they've
mean, I'm
always
wondering
parked, because I don't know if there's really room down.
Farther from homes on our
I don't know if
property.
there's really room
In the
down around
corridor
the Water
even?
Street
Yeah.
area.
There are homes there too, but
Well, but I
Yeah.
mean, it's
I know I suggested the same.
somewhere farther, perhaps.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find.
Well, you'll probably hear, if you have a house down there, you'll hear it from a lot further away, probably where it's at, because there's no trees or anything. I mean, that's just open down there. In years past, they've always had those kind of towards that north end and back shoved in there, but like I say,
Where it's
this
kinda
year,
that cut.
this year they moved them, I suppose trying
Out at the
to
Y?
keep it as quiet as they could.
Out at the Y?
Out at where? The Y?
Out at the Y, the 36 and 77
We don't
intersection out there.
own the land.
Well,
You're saying park it out.
where the,
Oh, out there? No, we don't own any land out there, do we?
I don't
No.
think we
Yeah, but
know.
there's no houses out there. I mean, it has to be on city property where they park it.
Yeah, because we have to have
yeah,
the legal ability to put them there, because
Yeah.
otherwise they could be asked to move.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, it was brought to me as a concern, and
Yeah,
if we
I
could address it, we should address it.
don't know where else, we put it at. I don't think there's really room on the water and street shop block, really.
No.
That'd be the first thing to put it.
Yeah.
Or down by
Yes,
I
Terry.
got a couple of reports, same as he did, and they were happy the next day because they shut the compressor off at night so they could sleep.
Did they shut the compressor off at night? I mean,
I don't know.
I wouldn't think they would have. Maybe it'd be probably running less at
It
night.
can be quiet. I know when I was there that one
They
day, it
called
was
me and
pretty
said-
quiet and I could hear nothing. So I don't know what they can do to get that. You're right. I went up there and sat with my car because I wanted to hear it myself. And I could not hear it over my car at all.
Well, they told me it was a lot quieter.
So maybe they did do something. Maybe you're right by the time I went there. That
I
could-
heard about it too, so that's why I wondered when he said that. But
So it was quieted down, so.
Anything else on the round table? Todd?
Yeah, here a couple years ago, we talked about replacing the chairs here at the Horseshoe. At the time, I didn't know that it was such a good idea, but I think we've gotten a couple more good years of use, and it's something we should explore again, perhaps, as there's at least several of them broken down.
Can't you get new cylinders for them?
Yeah.
It was okay for me to sit on it.
Well, yeah, for you.
after they're so old, then
Well,
I don't know if you can get cylinders.
I was gonna say, if they can be repaired, great, let's do that. If they can't be repaired, let's find economical, reasonable options. They don't have to be those $800 Aeron chairs or whatever they are.
Yeah.
Just chairs that go up and down and, that'd be great.
You'd probably be spending $1,500 and that's all.
You can get them for a couple $100s or less.
You can get them for $100 and some dollars.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you can get
The
them
Han
for,
chairs you can get for $100 and some dollars.
Yeah. We'd probably better be thinking this, well, it's not my turn, but this is on another kind of same topic. Do we want to look at improving our mic system in case we get stuck down there again, that we can have something so people can hear a little bit
We can
better?
at least start looking at it.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, because I don't know if we'll be back down there again at some point or not, but I know last week I was in a position where I was sitting at home trying to watch the meeting. It's very difficult to hear what's going on. I mean, if you held your laptop up to your ear just real quiet and the kids were quiet, you could kind of make out most of it, but a lot of it was difficult to hear. So, anyway.
Chairs,
Well,
microphones,
chairs
minibar.
and mics,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mini bar.
Did I say
He's
that?
gonna slip that in.
Foot massagers.
Okay.
That's all I got.
Nothing else? Diane?
no.
Nothing? Terry?
No.
Okay. Keith?
I know this, we have no control over this. I wish, as a council, I think we can voice our opinion and displeasure on what I'm going to say. The high school softball team, right, had no season. Their season's gone. So all these girls was just ramped up for rec, play rec softball. They had teams set up.
Yeah.
And then the local traveling team basically rated 5 girls. And now there's no rec team.
Yeah.
Okay, now, my question is, do we still refund with their money for those 5 girls that left the team to play on the traveling team that plays in a league in Nebraska?
We have no say.
No, if that's all.
I know we have no
That's
say
probably
to it,
sport benefit.
but we could, voice our displeasure about that.
Yeah, that's true.
That's all.
Parker? Nothing? Colleen? Kevin?
I have nothing this evening.
I don't really have anything.
Second.
Oh, you didn't wait for me.
You said nothing and I hit it.
All in favor, say aye.
Did you want to say
No,
something?
I don't have anything.